certain extreme situations, the law is inadequate. In order to shame its inadequacy, it is necessary to act outside the law, to pursue natural justice. This is not vengeance. Revenge is not a valid motive, it's an emotional response. No, not vengeance. Punishment.
Tonight we have a chance to say, yeah, you're right. We're too extreme, we're too wild, we're too out of control, we're too full of our own shit. Or we have a chance to say, hey, fuck you, you're wrong. Fuck you, we're right. Because you have all made it to the dance. Because believe me, this is the dance. Start the show.
Good evening, boys and girls, and welcome to another Steel Toe Evening Show. We're back at our normal time. Although I was not disappointed with yesterday afternoon at all. As a matter of fact, yesterday afternoon was crazy. We made a shitload of money. Respectable amount of people were there. We had a memorable show with Cheese bringing the... Dude, Cheese brought the Bloody Mary stuff. And the Vikings won 30-12. So I think that, the Bloody Mary tradition continues. Plus, I like the way Cheese did it better. Because Cheese just got the V8 and the Tito's. And I got to just fuck around with some spices and throw shit in there. The one I made while I was on the air with like paprika and cayenne and salt and applewood smoked sea salt and pepper and... what else did I throw there? I threw a lot of shit in there. That one, that got around my mouth and that burned the outside of my mouth. That one was fucking hot. So I tried a second one last night and I took a lot of the redundant spices out of it. Oh, and Worcestershire sauce was in there too. I took out I think I took out the paprika in the second one. I took out the cayenne. I did Cajun and chili powder. With the apple sea salt and the pepper and the Worcestershire sauce and the V8. It was that one was hot as fuck too. I got to play around a little bit. I'm used to the premix stuff. But it worked out well, and thank you, Cheese. I appreciate it. I was getting tweets and texts last night from people going, "Oh, fucking Cheese, good thing Cheese got that shit, Dad. Otherwise the Vikings would have fucked it up." The Bloody Mary thing worked from Cheese. It did. So Cheese kept our season alive. David Montgomery from the Lions out for the year. I think they lost 2 or 3 more defenders for the year. It was announced yesterday, too. So the Vikings they're in the catbird seat for the 1 seed in the NFC. All we got to do is keep winning. The problem is we got to win against Seattle in Seattle, Green Bay here, and Detroit on the road. Honestly, with all the injuries, that Detroit game might be the easiest one out of all of them. And that's not saying it's going to be easy, but it's going to be the easiest one out of all those. Vikings win all 3. 1 seed. Home field throughout the playoffs. I'm really excited for it. So what are we going to talk about tonight? We got updates on the drones. We've got updates on the shooter. We got a bunch of funny stories, including old people getting scammed. But at some point tonight, we will get to the Ricada, what was it? The settlement conference. It seems like there's been a result. There is a plea conference or a plea hearing scheduled for January 25th. And I believe what that means is a plea has been accepted and we're in the end game now. It's 30 days, a little more than 30, about 38 days now. You got to keep your nose clean. You got to fly under the radar because you don't want to fuck up this deal. Like, the worst thing you can do at this point if you've made a deal is go public and be like, it's all a bunch of bullshit. Just doing it because I have to. It's fucking gay. Like, I know Nick is obsessed with the internet and he cares what they think about them. That's got to be something he's going to change if he's going to make it through whatever probationary period there is. He's got to go see more people in real life. He's got to make more connections outside the internet, because it's that impressing the internet that's going to cause him to fuck up. You know, he's got to play act for the internet, which is really sad. So you got to not do that in the next 38 days, because first of all, people will tattle on you. Hey, you know, they're keeping an eye on you. And if the judge gets the idea that you're just doing this because I have to, it's fucking bullshit. If you try to play cool for the internet, they're going to pull that fucking deal off the table and they're going to wrap the rest of it around your fucking neck. So you got to be a good boy from here until the 25th. And then I think once the sentence is passed down and all that stuff is done, you can say whatever you want. I don't know. I have no clue. I think it's smarter to just take responsibility and move on with your life rather than fight it. But I'm pretty sure that once it's done and signed, you can be like, yeah, I fucking hate those guys. They're all full of shit. They just had me by the balls and I had to. And I think you can. Do not take that as legal advice. I have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about. But I think that that's the way it could work. I got a shitload. And when we talk about this later, we'll get into this. I got a shitload of unsolicited firsthand gossip today. You might have been watching the morning show, and a few people on the farms caught it too. On the morning show, someone was sending me DMs of like, hey, I'm in contact with Nick. Here's what's going on. Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, why the fuck are you telling me all this shit? And I'm like, I mean, if someone drops good gossip, I have to listen to it. I'm a gossip girl, and I've got to listen to it. But they dropped all this information on me. Some of it I'm going to share with you tonight. Some of it, it's probably prudent that I don't share it. We got to be smart about these things. But there were some things that he was trying to negotiate in this plea thing that I don't know how the prosecution didn't just laugh at him when he threw that out there. But we'll get to all of it a little bit later. I want to get to some other stuff first. I don't want to inundate people with drama and gossip right off the bat tonight. We'll get to all of that probably in the second hour. We got a lot of other stuff to talk about. We're going to catch up with you guys in the chat. We got a lot of news to get through. Let's go to the first few contributions we have tonight. Rusty Grammar with $5 over on Rumble says, alms for the toe, donated by the Trumpomaniacs in honor of my homie Cheese and the Minnesota Vikings. Skol indeed. Trucker 18-wheeler with $4.99 says, how mad would you be if the Super Bowl was Bills-Vikings and it ended in a tie? Now, it can't end in a tie, but I'd be furious, obviously. It would actually be fitting. Bills and Vikings with a combined 0-8 record in the Super Bowl, and it somehow ends in a tie. Just everybody dies from exhaustion on the field, and nobody can field a team. And the Super Bowl has to end after 18 hours of nobody scoring. That would be fitting. But man, it's just getting weird. Like, you just think that because you have Sam Darnold, there's a ceiling for you, and we keep busting through that ceiling. So I don't know what our ceiling is. I will say this: I'm really starting to regret that April impression we did as a throwaway one day. The sexy, that's sexy. It's so fucking sexy. Because now I log on and I start the stream, or I just set up the stream. I don't start it. And we're like 10 minutes out from the show. And I look in the chat and it's just people going, this show's sexy. It's just all what is it? So sexy, sexy. And I'm like, oh no, what did I do? And I'm like, the things like Deshaun Hannity that you want to take off, people are like, no, fuck that. I'm just going to say sexy 900 times. And honestly, I did it to myself. Let's catch up with the chat. And then let's get into some of our stuff for this evening. When numero uno Josh Denny fan says, another win for the toe. I don't know. It can't really be another win for the toe if it's just a guy just throwing shit at me. Like, I literally open up my DMs and a guy's like, hey, check all of this shit out. Here's what I know. And now, again, my source is someone to claim to have direct communication with Nick. That's all I can say. I I don't know if he does or he doesn't, but he claims he does, and this is the info he's got, and it's very, very interesting. And again, we'll do it later in the show tonight. Dive Bar with $2 says it's going to be Bills 28, Vikings 20. I agree with Bigot on socialist media. Just keep stacking wins 1 week at a time. Shouldn't even be thinking of the Super Bowl yet. Rexstart parody account with $1 says Vikings Bills Super Bowl, but the alien invasion starts right before the coin toss. Wouldn't it be our luck? Wouldn't it be our luck that the aliens would choose then to show up? Numero uno, Josh Denny fan says Nick Mullins spreading the parable of Rekieta is another win for the toe. Yeah, that's another one. Yul Gibbons, welcome to the Rumble chat, apparently. Throwing in the end tower. Fuck. If anybody did anything to Yul Gibbons over on YouTube, reverse it. Yul Gibbons is one of the good ones. Nick Mullins apparently, or Nick Mullins. Nick Mullins is the Vikings backup quarterback. Nick Mullen, formerly of Cumtown, was on Dan Soder's podcast, and he was telling Dan Soder the Rekieta Imholt lore. And just like everyone else who hears about it, they're like, what the fuck? And we've got that clip for you today. It's going to be a fun show. We're going to be all over the place on tonight's show. It's going to be good. But as far as, like, we were talking about the Vikings thing. And Triple N says that Cam Robinson is a liability. See, I disagree. I think Cam had a bad game Monday night, but I think Cam Robinson has filled in really well for Christian Darrisaw outside of that. It's unfortunate because as offensive linemen, you only see like the really bad shit. You don't see the good stuff that they do. When they fuck up, they stand out. And Cam Robinson had a bad game. Numero uno, Josh Denny fan says Mullen doesn't even know how far down this toe tunnel goes. You know, I really think the internet in general is kind of done with Nick because like 3-4 months ago, if this settlement conference would have happened, even a month ago when the last one happened, or 3 weeks or whatever it was, there was a clamoring. There were people needed to know what happened and everything else. I think people have really just burnt out on the guy and they're just done with him. I think they're just ready to be finished with him until you hear about the new gimmick that's coming that I heard about from my confidential source. Doom Clone says, here's the clip. I think I already have the clip of the Mullins thing. Yeah, I have the clip. Oh, Doom, I'm so sorry. So the Clippers now, I pay him $10 a video, and I got to throw $20 to my lost interest. He DM'd me his Venmo information today. I appreciate that. But so now the Clippers want to get their clips to me as quick as possible so they can collect that stringer's fee and have a cheeseburger that day. I'm sorry, Doom. I apologize. I don't want to use a competitor's name. I'm using the Alyssa Clips one today. Alyssa Clips is the first one I saw. That's the first one I saw with the Nick Mullen video. I'm really sorry, Doom. It's nothing personal. I promise. But Alyssa Clips was the first one I saw, and she's got the video tonight. I hope this doesn't hurt our relationship. Sanford's son with 1429 says, so I was fixing this Tahoe at Firestone, and the customer would always nag it.
I'll fucking kill you, you fucking faggot.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Sanford's son, for the 1429. Appreciate it. Clapogram says, RIP Legal Vices. Yeah, I don't know who Legal Vices is. You got to remember, before all this shit, I didn't know anything about LawTube. I didn't know anything about this stuff. It sounds, by all accounts, he was a good guy. Sad to see him go. Apparently he died young, which is always tragic. Numero uno, Josh Denny fan says, I wonder if he knows about the Google login surveillance saga. I mean, that's still being investigated. I think there's a lot of tentacles to that. I think patience is a virtue on that deal. McBuster says we are sick of Nick. He should have fought harder and done a total Amber Heard on stand. Well, she shit in the bed, not in the courtroom. Doom Clone's pissed. He says mine was out before Alyssa. Shame. I'm sorry. I apologize. Kloppo Graham says, don't worry, Doom. Aaron will blow you anyway. Would you stop spreading these fucking rumors to people? Kloppo, I get really weird DMs when you tell people that shit. You know how hard it is to let them down gently? Or blow them? Fuck. You really make my life more difficult than it has to be. MSO says, is it my monitor or is Aaron looking extra gay tonight? Why can't it be both? Why can't it be both? Billy Bob Norris says, Aaron, do you think Nick will stay on the straight and narrow or will he go back to his old ways when the coast is clear? We'll talk about that when we get into all of it a little bit later. Doom Clone says, I'm not pissed, but I won't forget. 1,000 apologies. I'm very, very sorry. Bigot on Socialist Media says, Doom mentioned on this show more than Alyssa. Anyway, a win for Doom already. Oh, look, guys, we're not trying to make it a win for Doom or a win for Alyssa. I happen to like them both and appreciate their work. I know in the internet there's no room for nuance, but I promise I appreciate both of their works. It's 165 tonight. Thank you guys very much. The morning show audience got us down a little bit, plus you guys have already been chipping in. I really appreciate it. 165 is our number. Do me a favor, just throw in a nice little chunk of change over on Venmo, PayPal, or Streamlabs. We'll get that number hammered out as soon as possible, and we'll do this thing until 9:30 tonight, Central Time. Thank you. Aaron is trying to play India in the middle like a bitch. Doom Clone says, I like Alyssa. I want no beef. She's feisty, dude. That's a good call. That's a good call. All right, let's get into some things tonight. Thank you guys very much for the early contributions. I appreciate that. You guys keep that up. We're going to bang out tonight, no problem. I really do appreciate it. What do we have? We have, I don't believe we're going to have any goals next week. We're going to have the birthday show on Monday, and then we'll be off until Thursday. We might have a goal Thursday, but probably not. If the birthday show goes well Monday, I don't feel comfortable asking for money for a Thursday show. And then Friday's Rumble Link Friday, like usual. So tonight, tomorrow's 2 shows, and Thursday. So we got 2.5 more days of goals, and then no more goal talk until what? Around New Year's. Holy shit. That birthday show goes well enough, we'll shut down goals for the entire year. So thank you guys very much for your contributions. Numero Uno Josh Denny fan says, all week, no goals. What the fuck? It's possible we knock out. Yeah, you know what? We knock out this week and the birthday show goes really well on Monday. Not only will I do a 7-8 hour show on my birthday like we always do, but we make enough on that birthday show. I don't feel the need to do shit. I don't feel the need to do shit for goals the rest of the year. Steve C with $5. Oh, no, Steve C. Steve C says, hey, Air Bear. Hey, Steve C. Your face is getting thick, mostly around the neck, chin area. Love you, boo. The Lord sees all. I would tell him to go fuck himself, but we're back to about 11 pounds over fighting weight. We're at about 226. Dude, it's creeping up. It's creeping up, and that is not a good thing. You know what it was? I was about 7 pounds, 6 pounds away for a little while there. And you know what it is? Like, and we talk about this in boxing training all the time. One night of drinking can set you back 2 weeks. I mean, we had that one adult party, that Christmas party at the neighborhood Christmas party, where everybody and all their kids come over. And honestly, I had like 3 old fashions and 3 beers. But then you eat, you know, while you're drinking, you're just popping food in your mouth. Then we played that Bean Boozled game, and I got to get the taste of shit and liver and onions out of my mouth, so I'm eating more snacks. And that just sticks to you for a good week or so. So yeah, it's back to the gym tomorrow and probably a 2-a-day Thursday and go Friday and go Saturday and sweat that shit out. That's for sure. Crunchy Cynicism says, my first sober donation ever. Am I ahead of Gray Duckling yet? Let's do the math. Let's find out. Thank you for the 20. Yes, Crunchy. That puts you at 180. You are $18 ahead of Gray Duckling. Crunchy Cynicism is in first tonight. officially, and we are only 145 away from tonight. Thank you guys very much. Yeah, it looks like this. Gray Duckling at, now Crunchy at 180. Gray Duckling at 162. Tommy Ups with 100 and JP with 100. That's the top four. Thank you. Angelica's doll says, we're sorry you're so lonely during the holidays, Aaron. That's got to be really hard. No, I'm not. Why am I lonely during the holidays? I'm surrounded by family and friends. And I was going to say children, but that sounds weird. My children. My children. Melton would have a very good Christmas if he was just surrounded by other people's children. That would be his idea of a wonderful Christmas. The rest of us would be highly put off by it. But thank you, Angelica's doll, for your concern. Isn't it weird when someone writes something and you look at it and you're like, wait a minute, what? I'm lonely during the, oh shit. And then you go, oh wait, they just wrote that. Take a breath for a second. You start reading comment after comment and you start having you're like, oh, I'll just take them all at face value. And then you get to Angelica's and you're like, what? Oh shit, that's right. That worried me for a moment. Crunchy looks fit if that's her real picture, says Clopogram. All right, guys, enough with the fucking boners. Let's chill out a little bit. We're not going to fuck during the chat. All right? You take that shit off platform, as the kids say. Oh, God, here we go. Brett Mack says, Crunchy, you're a smoke show. Drop a line, babe. Oh, no. Guys, can we try to, can you waistband your boner, please? Could you? MSO says, Aaron will be visited by the 3 ghosts of Eric Church. Yay! They're all good ghosts. Fauci's Pangolin, have you thought about doing squats on a dozen guys at the gay 90s? Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Very kind. And now everybody's going to hit on Crunchy, and then you wonder why our male-to-female demos are so out of whack. Thanks, guys. Trucker 18-wheeler with 199 says Crunchy saying she's sober is hilarious. Oh, Christ. Oh, let's start that up now. All right, Crunchy, now you yell at him, and then he'll yell at you, and then you guys will all respond to each other. Brett Mack says, boner, he thinks. I'll show you a boner, fat man. Bro. You might want to rephrase that. You don't want to say to a dude, oh, you think I have a boner? I'll show you a boner. You don't want to show me a boner. That's not what you meant. I understand. Just don't. Clopogram says, Crunchy, all the podcasts in all the world, and you came into this one, 2 hearts. Guys, stop with the hearts. Doom says, can someone ask Crunchy to show the video from the fair for the love of God? I don't know what that means, and I don't think I want to know. Billy Bob Norris says, I like that. Aaron doesn't deny the gay allegations. What's it going to get me at this point? People to believe me? I don't think so. I don't think so. All right, Adam Simon with $1. Thank you, buddy. Gray Duckling says, Crunchy, it's gray with an A. Oh, boy. So now Gray Duckling is at 172. So he's $8 behind Crunchy. Trucker 18-wheeler with $2 says, let's flirt in here. Johnny Payton, number 8, says, a pedo, a virgin, and a hack go to a bar. Tender says, hi, Ray. I don't follow Ray DeVito shit, but that's a funny joke if you interchange it with anybody. Like a pedo, a virgin, and a hack go to a bar. Tender says, hi, Melton. Like it works for anybody. That joke works for anybody. It's interchangeable. Dive Bar with $1 says nobody uses their real picture, and if by chance they do, it's not from this decade. Oh, boy. Now we're all going to get bitchy with each other. Crunchy with another $10. She's creating a little more distance between her and Gray Duckling. She's back to $18 ahead. She says, I used a fake picture. I am a severely overweight man with emotional problems. I've met Crunchy. They're half right on that one. I'd say that's half accurate. 1:30 away from tonight. Thank you guys very much for getting into your little bidding battle here. It's remarkably helpful. 1:30 away from tonight. Trucker 18-wheeler with $1.99 says, call me Crunchy at 320. I'm single. Wait a minute. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Hey, that's one too many letters, you fucking guy. All right, guys. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Cheeseburger Pie writes in the chat. That's her. All right, good. Everybody can fucking flirt with Crunchy. See, Clopogram, how is that helping? He says, Crunchy, can we see your milkers? Guys, can we not turn tonight's show into a horn fest, please? Could we? I've got gossip we can get to. I got all kinds of stuff to talk about. We don't have to creep on Crunchy's tits all night. Gray Duckling with 1235 says, creep. Great. Now I got to keep track of fucking cents now. That's 184.35. Fuck. 184.35. He's now $5.65 behind Crunchy. Thank you very much. And now we're 120 away from tonight. Thank you, guys. Oh, now Crunchy hits back at him. He goes back at Crunchy. The whole deal. Sam Show says, let her answer the question at least. It's getting uncomfortably horny for you guys in here right now. Like, I mean, we're going to talk about a school shooting first. Maybe that'll drop down but it's a chick. So it's all right. Clopogram says, leaderboard war. I like a leaderboard war. Mr. Beat says, what happened to the cutie last week that donated a couple hundred? Oh, yeah. She could come in and just beat the shit out of everybody. That would be great. This proves it. You're gay. Rusty Grammar says, getting horny is so sexy. Fucking hell. Gray Duckling with 564 says, no, she can be ahead for the moment. All right, that puts Gray Duckling at I'm calling it 190. I'm giving him a penny. That puts him at 190. Oh, no, he wants her to be ahead, so he's at 189.99. All right, Crunchy, you are ahead by 1 penny. Congratulations. Corn Pop with 199 says, I'll be back. That creeps me the fuck out more than you'll ever know, buddy. Thank you very much. 115 away from tonight, and we've got ourselves a bidding war, which is always good for the steel toe goal. Thanks, guys. All right, may we get started? It's been a very fun first 25 minutes, but we got Nick gossip we've got to get to later. I want to get these up. I got updates on the drones. I got updates on the shooter. We got scams on old people that are fucking hilarious. We got Nick Mullen and Dan Soder finding out about Imholt Ricada lore. We're all over the place tonight. So thank you very much. 115 away from tonight. Somebody christen the PayPal and the Venmo, and then we'll be on our way out of here. We'll be on our way to overtime, I suppose you could say. Okay. What do we know about the Madison Christian school shooter? What we found out this morning is that she's kind of a crazy feminist. And if this manifesto that's leaking around the internet is to be believed, then it's apparently she thinks that, women are bending to the patriarchy, that essentially, like, these women don't care about feminism. They only care about making the patriarchy and the men in it happy. All the men are Hitler. Therefore, all these women are Eva Brauns and they're sympathizers. And she says they need to be exterminated. Just a really likable human being, just really level-headed kid, really good thoughts for 15 fucking years old. That's like, people can talk about gun control all they want. Let's figure out how these 15-year-olds are fucking thinking this way. Somebody mentioned this morning that it's TikTok. That makes me feel like an old man. If I say like, Chinese TikTok is turning 15-year-olds into serial killers. I don't know if that's the case, but it's something. It's something. Crunchy with another $2 says, plot twist, Gray Duckling and I are friends. Nobody said you couldn't be friends. Just said he's $2.01 ahead of you. Or behind you right now. He's nipping at your heels. Trucker 18-wheeler with $1.99 says, any man that dates Crunchy is crazier than she is. Wow. Crazy. Crunchy's crazy. By the way, that puts Trucker at 50. for the week. Thank you, buddy. Gray Duckling with $2 says she lies. Am I going to be able to do a show tonight, or is it going to be this? Thank you for the $2. It's now a 1 penny lead for Crunchy. 1:15 away from tonight. Thank you, guys. Now we're going to get into this. I appreciate your contributions. She carried out the mass shooting in the school library, according to a source she did not identify as trans. Well, that's kind of breaking from the norm for these most recent shootings. The teen girl used the name Sam online and the username Crossixer. She had an extensive online obsession with school shooters and death. It's a good thing we have another school shooter who, didn't leave a trail or anything, or didn't leave any warning signs that this might happen. It's a good thing that this just popped up out of the blue. Here we go again. Same old story. Wait until we hear she was known to law enforcement or she'd made threats before. She had an extensive online obsession with school shooters and death, particularly the 1999 Columbine high school shooting. So she's kind of a hipster. That's kind of a hipster shooting to like. Kids her age should be more Sandy Hook, They should be more, not even Virginia Tech, even that's a little old. But Columbine, that's like, I remember when I was in high school, one of my favorite movies was Casablanca. You get looked at like you're a fucking weirdo because it's in black and white and it's an old-timey movie. And people are like, wait a minute, are you just saying you like Casablanca because you're trying to be different and interesting? I'm like, no, I'm trying to say I like Casablanca because I'm gay. And that seemed to satisfy their curiosity. So this shooter apparently was into fringe extremist online culture, is what they're calling it. Her Cash App account is a picture of the Columbine shooters. Good thing there's no red flags. She had an account on Watch People Die, where she commented on the videos. Her Spotify playlist featured themes of and killings. Her Tumblr account features content about mass shooters. She also posted images suggesting she got a pistol for her birthday. Can we have a nice little talk about the person who got her that for her birthday? That would be nice. It does turn out that manifesto was hers. So she's just a fucking lunatic. Here's a picture. Oh yeah, you know what? She got that crazy wet dog look. She looks the part. But you don't expect them to. You don't expect a girl who looks like this to like go gun toting and shoot people. Key the cars maybe, but not shoot them. There was a tweet in 2023. Apparently people saw this coming. One person tweeted, there will be a femcel mass shooter in the next 2 years that will name drop radical feminism Hitler in a manifesto. And then, there she is. There's the shooter. 15 years old. And then immediately all the politicians on one side are like, oh yeah, gotta figure out gun control. We gotta get new gun laws, all this other shit. It's never gonna, like, nothing's ever gonna change. Nothing's ever gonna stop because we're all just, every side is gonna keep proposing the same shit they want to do. Nobody's gonna want to bend at all, and we're just gonna. And also, I don't think anybody in charge wants this to change. I think a lot of this shit is like MK Ultra style psyop shit anyway. I think this is one of the ways that the powers that be know that their brainwashing is working and that girls like this are willing to kill for these radical political beliefs. I think this is something that some people in the power structure like. I think they use it as, at the very least, they use it as research. Really. Sam Show says parents had no idea that what she was into, I bet. Sure, honey, you can have a glicky. Mr. Beat says, especially since there was a father in the picture, something doesn't add up. Yeah, I mean, really just not paying attention. Yeah, numero uno Josh Denny fan. I believe he's from Canada or Italy, one of the two. I can't remember. But numero uno Josh Denny fan says, America loves school shooters. I could forgive people for thinking that the way we run shit around here, that we must like it because we certainly don't do anything to stop it. The pharmaceutical company, says McBuster, have a damage control team that can be anywhere in the U.S. in an hour. Yeah, I mean, the pharmaceutical companies have a big part to play in this, but we don't even discuss it. We don't even talk about it. Anything health related now, I just go, maybe RFK will deal with it. Maybe RFK Jr. will get involved. But other than that, it'll just keep happening because you're going to get more and more of these kids who just with a fuck it attitude and mentally ill and nobody checks on them and they can go into their corner of the internet and just be whatever they want. They never have to touch grass. It's dangerous, man. It bends your brain and you don't even notice it's bending your brain because you spend all your time in places where that kind of shit's normal. There's nobody there to shame you or call you a nut bar. And that's always been kind of important. So that's the latest. That's what we know about the Wisconsin school shooter, motives, everything else. And now we'll get a bunch of arguing about it for probably the next 12 to 24 hours, and then we'll move on. Especially since we found out more about the New Jersey drones. Hey, all of you guys who were talking about the New Jersey drone thing, remember how I was a crazy person for buying the loose nuke theory? You guys were like, Aaron, that's the juiciest one. It's the most gossipy one. That's why you're going with the loose nuke theory. Yeah, fair. But I also kind of thought it was true. It sounded reasonable. I'm like, why are all these fucking SUV-sized drones in the sky? What are they looking at? What are they looking for? And then some guy who makes drones for the government made a video, and he's been on Rogan before. And he's like, I've talked to some of my contacts on the inside, and they're worried that this might be loose nuclear material, that this might be a loose nuke thing. You know, nobody's saying anything. Nobody's discussing exactly why they're up there. A government official yesterday tried to convince us that it could be stars. It could be stars in the sky. Then we went to Real Raw News yesterday, and we found out that it was actually the White Hats had raided a Red Hats compound where they were engaging in Project Bluebeam, and the White Hats went in and then killed a bunch of Red Hats, but then they found one engineer who they nicknamed Donaldson, and they interrogated him about the drones, and he said they're actually projection hologram drones, and they can put any image or picture in the sky or on the wall or anywhere else and make it speak and make it look like it's real. So like you could hologram a picture of Jesus Christ telling people not to support Donald Trump. That's what Real Raw News said. It seemed like they had sources to their story. There is absolutely no reason why they would lie about that. Were they lying about med beds? Were they lying about done babies? What's their motivation? Seems legit to me. But I bought into the loose nuke theory, and some people gave me shit for that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I give you I think this is the mayor of New Jersey. Let's I'll play it for you. Yeah, the mayor of New Jersey. No, New Jersey's not. There's not a New Jersey, New Jersey. How would he be the mayor? Aaron, you fucking idiot. It would be the governor. They're looking for something. Blah, 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 blah. Mayor, what's it? Mayor Mellum. Well, listen to what Mayor Mellum said on Good Day New York, and you tell me if I'm still crazy.
There is growing concern and a demand for answers about the mysterious drones hovering over the tri-state area. In New Jersey, the flying objects have been spotted over residential neighborhoods, restricted sites, even near President-elect Donald Trump's home and critical infrastructure.
Belleville Mayor Michael.
Why on earth would a drone just be flying around at random in New Jersey, all over different places, important places, the next president's house, bases, things like that? I wonder what could be missing.
Mellum says
the Belleville mayor. Okay, Belleville, New Jersey. That's the mayor. By the way, I did not know that the guy from Fox NFL Sunday was also the host of Good Day New York. Craig, who gives a fuck?
The drone sightings are creating anxiety in his town, and he's looking
Kurt Menefee. Thank you, Aaron.
Answers, and he joins us this morning right here on Good Day New York. Thank you for joining us, Mayor. You know, President-elect Trump said...
Do you think that the Jets will cover the spread this week? Oh, fuck, wrong job. Sorry. Back to drones.
Joining us, Mayor. You know, President-elect Trump says that the Biden administration knows what's going on. Our government knows what's going on. You're the mayor of Bellevue. What do you know?
We get the name wrong twice. He said Bellum, then he said Bellevue, and that it's Belleville. I want to listen to it again.
Bellevue. or excuse me, going on. You're the mayor of Bellum.
Okay, there's Bellum.
Or excuse me, of Bellevue.
It's not Bellevue. It's Belleville. That's awesome. Kurt Menefee fucked up 3 times on one town. I love it.
Do you know?
We know very little. About 6 days ago, there was an unprecedented briefing with every single mayor in the state of New Jersey, along with every member of our state legislature.
Hey, guys, this guy's about to say something that I don't think he was about to say, or he was supposed to say. Somebody's spilling the radioactive beans in a minute.
We learned exactly at that time what the state knows, which was very little. Since then, information has not been forthcoming. And it's this lack of transparency, in my opinion, that's doing nothing but fueling conspiracy theories online.
Do you have any idea what it could be? Or which side it could be, where it's coming from?
Yeah.
Now, this is where, like, the governor and the federal government is in his earpiece going, no, you don't know shit. Shut the fuck up. You already shouldn't be on this show. We've told you way too fucking much.
I can tell you what it's not. We know for a fact it's not little green men, and more than likely it's not a foreign adversary, because they would be able to figure out how to turn off the blinking lights. These drones are huge. We had a mayor yesterday on the call with the White House telling them that he had 6-foot drones hovering over his house, yet they continue to tell us we don't know what we're talking about. It's misidentification. Certainly there's some misidentification probably going on, but I could assure you that we are seeing drones in New Jersey all over the place.
All right, so Bethany Frankel, I know she's not...
This guy's about, like, I feel like he's going to get kidnapped and thrown in a white van with no windows. I don't think he's supposed to be blabbing this much to the local news.
Like, you know, the New York Times, but she says that she has, like, some kind of contact at the Pentagon, and that it has something to do with radioactive material in New Jersey.
See, I'm not looking so crazy. Loose nukes, brother, loose nukes. Look out. It's something about nukes. It's something about radiation. Just you wait.
You hear it.
So here's what I know. I know that we were told by our state police that we have assets over our critical infrastructure. Now, depending on your point of view, that's either concerning or comforting. I think it's comforting because it's probably us listening and watching. We also know that we have drones.
Yeah, I always love that. It's so comforting to know that the government is listening and watching. I didn't like knowing that Nick Rekieta and Patrick Melton were reading my private shit. Now I got to worry the government is.
That are flying in a grid-like pattern. In my opinion, they're looking for something. What might they be looking for? Well, potentially, we're aware of a threat that came in through Port Newark. Maybe that's radioactive material. There was and there is an alert that's out right now that radioactive material in New Jersey has gone missing.
Oh, what the fuck did I tell you? Loose nukes, loose nukes, loose nukes, loose nukes. I know what you guys are thinking. Aaron, he did not say loose nukes. He said missing radioactive material. Yeah, that's because loose nuke is scary as fuck. And as loose-lipped as this retard is, soon to be kidnapped retard by the CIA, he's not going to go on TV and go, yeah, there's a fucking nuke that was supposed to come in. Remember the microwave emitter from Batman Begins? Yeah, it's kind of like that. Like, we don't know where it is. We think Ra's al Ghul might have a nuke. We're trying to stop it. This guy just went on TV and said there was some missing radioactive material. We might be trying to track that down before some guy with a beard and a funny hat tries to detonate it out of a suitcase, making a dirty bomb. We'll figure our shit out.
On December 2nd, it was a shipment. It arrived at its destination. The container was damaged and was empty. So
Okay,
potentially...
No! Don't tell me that shit. There was a damaged container of radioactive material December 2nd at the port of Newark, and it was empty. That means, and those drones went up in the air on like December 3rd or 4th. That means there was a fucking nuke in there, and it wasn't supposed to be missing, and it was missing, and they scrambled a bunch of drones to do pattern recognition and sensory shit. I don't know words. I'm not smart. Not dumb, not like everybody says, like dumb. I'm smart and I want respect. I'm sorry, I'm a little fired up on this one. My point is, I said nuke. I was only 30% fucking around. Now I for sure think it's nuke because soon to be ex-mayor went and fucking blabbed on TV about the missing radioactive material.
we're
Wait,
looking
stop
for
right
that.
there, Mayor, because that's very important information. And that came from a credible source.
That came from the U.S. government.
And so...
Who's credible? Why would his horse tell us anything? I got to stop with that joke. I'm the only one who thinks it's funny.
It's missing?
Missing.
Yeah.
And they think it's in New Jersey, or it could be anywhere?
It was lost in New Jersey, in transit. And again, this is just an example of what I think that we're sniffing for. I think we do have the assets that can go up and fly around and sniff things, which is why...
And sniff things. So the drones have noses, and they can sniff out nukes. Cool. You want to fucking find it before Abdul blows it up at the YMCA? Oh, shit.
We're not seeing the uptick we used to see in Belleville anymore. It's kind of moving, but we're seeing alerts that it's happening now in Pennsylvania.
And that's right about the time that the drone sightings began, right?
Yeah, drone sightings began about 4 weeks ago.
Okay, so when you...
So drone sightings began right after some radioactive package was found damaged and empty when it came in at the port of Newark. Yay!
Take a look at this. If this information is indeed credible, why wouldn't the government say, it's us?
Because it's fucking frightening and they don't want to terrify people like this mayor just went on and blabbed that info. The government doesn't want to go on TV and go, hey, we lost some radioactive material in your neighborhood, but don't worry, we're looking for it. It should be here any minute now. We'll find it one way or another. You know, whether by hook or mushroom cloud, we'll find the fucking thing.
That's the crazy part about this. We've gotten very little information. Even yesterday on that call with the White House, literally mayors were told, you guys are seeing things. There's no credibility to this. One mayor, like I said, had drones over his house. I mean, we're no longer going to stand for not hearing the truth. I mean,
bro, you're fixing to get your ass kicked. Like, you need to shut. I don't want to see this guy. He seems like a nice enough guy. I don't want to see him get, like I said, thrown into the back of a van or something like that. He's really tugging at the cape here.
Our state government is failing us. They're not getting the answers from the federal government. And even though yesterday they told us that there's nothing to see here, today there's a top secret briefing going on in Congress. Well, what are they being told that we weren't told yesterday?
Real quick.
You just spilled the beans that there's a fucking nuke somewhere. Jesus Christ.
Did you know?
I knew I was right, but I didn't want to be right.
Yesterday when you were on that call about this missing radioactive activity or merchandise, or did you know that this morning after the call?
I was made aware of it yesterday morning. I did raise my hand. We weren't allowed to speak. I did raise my hand, was not called on to get that question answered.
So apparently...
No shit. Because they don't want to talk to the fucking local mayor about, hey, yeah, some nuclear shit that went missing. Does this have anything to do with that? Because you put the drones up as soon as the nuclear shit went missing. Fuck, our government can't even hide shit from us well anymore. Dime store Gavin Newsom knows what's going on.
It is concerning. Even the president-elect, who I'm sure gets some kind of briefings on things, he says he's not going to his home in Bedminster, right?
Yeah, I listened to him yesterday. He no doubt gets the same exact briefings that President Biden gets. He says our government knows. He says our president knows. And he also ended with saying, I'm not going to be in New Jersey this weekend.
So what do you want to know? What do you want the government to tell you and the general public?
I want them to be clear with us. I want transparency. I want them to say these are our assets. There's no need to concern about what's flying. The question should no longer be who's flying these drones or who owns them. It should be what they're looking for. Tell us they're ours.
Nukes.
Tell
they're
us
looking
that
for
they're protecting
nukes.
us, and tell us what the threat is.
Okay, what coming up on the holidays? Is everybody...
What's on your Christmas list? I don't know. A dirty bomb not going off in fucking Cherry Hill? That would be good. Would be really nice if there wasn't a fucking dirty bomb that went off somewhere in my neighborhood. I think that would be aces. Klopogram says it's like an episode of Stargate SG-1 with the government black ops. Dude, it's like it's every stereotype of government hiding shit that you've ever heard. You don't know what you're talking about. Shut up, Mr. Mayor. You don't know. Well, we lost nuclear shit. Like, it's literally the same cover-up that the CEO of Wayne Enterprises did when that microwave emitter went missing. You know, he's going to fire some black R&D guy and tell Batman to go fuck himself. Oh, guys, this isn't good. Whatever this is, the fact that they won't just cop to it and say, yeah, because, like, if they cop to it and they go, yeah, we lost some radioactive materials, but we're looking for it and we're not really concerned about safety or anything. We think it's okay. We just got to track it down. That would be one thing. But we're all sitting here going, hey, it sounds like fucking nuclear material went missing and we got drones in the sky. And they're like, nah, those are stars. We'll be fine. Like, what? Could you at least tell me what these drones are looking for? They're crows. They're not drones. Don't worry. You're fine. Bruce Springsteen is just sitting there hoping a dirty bomb goes off because he hasn't had the inspiration to write a song in about 20 years. He's just like, you know, I mean, it's been a long time since the streets of Philadelphia. That's all I'm saying. I mean, dirty bomb goes off. Growing a third eye in a dead man's town. We're all look fucking goofy since nukes hit the ground, yeah. Sam Show says, look, if you're so convinced it's nukes, go looking for them. Why? So I can lose the game of hot potato and the fucking thing can go off right under my feet? I'm safe here. Numero uno, Josh Denny fan says, nukes in New Jersey is Italian-y. Hey, it's a nukes in New Jersey. We got fucking radiation all over the place. Yeah, Mr. Beat says, potassium iodide sales are booming today. No shit. All right, great. So the government won't say anything, but one of the mayors knows that they've got nuke shit missing for the last few weeks. Good. Gray Duckling with $5 says, hey, there's a gas leak in your house. Nothing to worry about. We're looking for him. What? That doesn't work for me, brother. By the way, that now puts Gray Duckling at $196.99. That puts him almost $5 ahead of Crunchy. $115 is our number for tonight. Go ahead and toss something in the old PayPal or Streamlabs, and we'll start cutting down on this $115 real quick. We're off to a great start tonight. Thank you guys so much for your contributions. All right, you guys want to do gossip? I got about 10, 15 minutes of gossip in me tonight. Here we go. I'm sure this will get clipped. I'll try to look my best posture. Okay, there we go. I'll try not to look so fat, but it's been a bad week. Chelino with $2 says the gay frogs are flying the drones, I bet. Your lips to God's ears, Chelino. By the way, that puts us 110. That and Gray Duckling puts us 110 away from this evening. Thank you guys very much again. Start throwing in, and we'll have overtime in no time on Steel Toe. All right, posture good. Trying not to look so fat in the face. Let's get to some gossip. My good pal, my close personal friend, my brother in cuckitude, Nick Ricada, had his, what do you call it, second settlement conference today. Now, hey, look, before I get into it, you're not going to hear me make fun of the guy for having a settlement conference in and of itself. Lord knows I got my own problems. But he had his settlement conference today, and this morning, someone decided to DM me and just start telling me all of this insider information. Apparently, Nick just likes DMing with strangers on the internet. And I kind of felt bad when I was hearing this stuff, because this is just a guy that's apparently talked to Nick a few times. They're not like close friends or anything like that. Nick just so badly needs people to talk to that he vents to strangers online. This is really, really weird. And this guy sent me a bunch of stuff and said, I thought you would be interested in this. Some of it I can talk about on the show. Some of it I can't. We'll get to, we're going to set it up with the news from today, and then we'll get to the gossip that I've received. That does include our former co-host and my ex-wife, the lovely and talented April Anderson, who, by the way, 3 more days turns 30 years old. April, 30 years old in 3 days. Doesn't look a day over 26, by God. Nick had his settlement conference today, and it seems as though it's looking like a guilty plea. There is a plea hearing scheduled for January 25th. And I believe the plea hearing will be a confirmation of the deal they came to today. Now, people have been theorizing for a long time now what took him so long, what took Nick so long to plead guilty. I did get some insight into that today from this inside source who will remain nameless. I feel like such an intrepid journalist. But in reality, this shit all fell into my lap. So here's what I know. What I know is here's what I know from this source. What I know from this source is there is no confirmation of which charges are sticking and which charges are staying, what he's pleading guilty to and what they're taking off the table. That information I do not have. But I do have information that it's looking like 2 to 3 years without drugs or alcohol. Now, 2 to 3 years without drugs or alcohol for someone who is addicted is, I was talking to a recovering alcoholic today, and they said, you know, are they getting help? Are they acknowledging that they have an addiction? Like, no, quite the opposite. And they're like, they're not going to make it 2 or 3 years. People on probation for that long with that level of problem who don't address it, it just doesn't work. You got to change. Otherwise, you're going to fail. Because not only are you addicted to that substance, but you now also have the added pressure of there's probably going to be a stayed prison sentence or a stayed jail sentence attached to you not using these things. So now there's the added pressure of if I touch this, I fuck up everything. People think that that's a deterrent. I think that's more like staring at the left side of the road going, don't go left into the ditch, don't go left into the ditch. And then your mind just kind of steers towards the ditch. But everybody's different. So this inside source that's spoken to Nick Rekieta told me, they said, it's like the way, like, people take such glee in knowing this shit sometimes. Like, do you want to know what he proposed to the prosecutors? And I'm like, oh boy. And like, I'm just like, I don't feel bad for Nick because it's like, stop spewing all this personal private shit to strangers. You're going to fuck yourself. So he goes and he pitches the idea. I want to read this so I have it right. I want to read it right from the horse's mouth here. Now, Nick says, hey, not doing drugs or not doing or not drinking for a few years is easy. You just don't do it. I don't have a problem. I don't have an addiction to alcohol. Now, I watched the guy personally for 5 months. He has a problem. He has a drinking problem. I would, in my opinion, observing his behavior, he's an alcoholic. He's addicted to it. He can think what he wants. I've had friends who are alcoholics. He behaves exactly like an alcoholic. So if you're not an alcoholic, the 2 to 3 years of probation should be, all right, well, look, you know, them's the breaks. That sucks, but I got caught with my hand in the cookie jar. I'll take my lumps like a man. Apparently, Nick confused. Now, this is how it typically works. The state will offer you a deal, and there will be a first deal that won't be that great. And then as the process goes forward, they'll offer you a second deal, and that'll kind of be the final, like, look, we don't want to go to trial. It's time and energy and preparation. We got a lot of cases. Take this deal. Here's the, pieces of it. We'll call this thing good. Nick seemed to think that they were horse trading. And Nick brought forth an idea to prosecutors, again, from my source who claims to have direct contact with Nick. He said, quote, he tried offering to the state that he be a counselor, school visitor, and YouTube personality talking about the harms of taking drugs. Now, as far as being a school visitor, they don't want a guy who got caught with an ounce of cocaine with his fucking kids in the house who's on probation for that crime, going to schools and talking to children. They certainly don't need you to be a counselor. Just because you've done the shit doesn't mean you're qualified to be a counselor. So he offered this to the prosecutors, and I asked this person, why? Why did he offer it to them? He said he tried offering that to take the no booze for 2 to 3 years off the table. So Nick doesn't have a problem with alcohol. He's not an alcoholic, but he said, I'll change my entire YouTube personality to be the anti-drug guy. Nick says, I'm going to be the anti-drug guy on YouTube. You watch Nick Ricado on YouTube, it's going to be a no doing drugs show. Drugs are bad, okay? I'm going to be the fucking Mr. Mackey of YouTube and Rumble. Because I really, really need to drink. Now, why would they want you to go to schools and be online telling people not to abuse substances when the only reason you're doing it is so you can suck down a bottle of whiskey? I mean, when I heard that, I just went, people are like, do you think that's true? Do you think that's true? It's too retarded for somebody to just make up. It's just really too dumb for someone to just make up. So he offered to change his entire YouTube personality. And hey, guy, he thought he had, with Nick, it's all about these magic bullets. I've got this magic bullet that's going to get me out of all this shit. It was the Franks hearing, and then it was the interlocutory appeal, and it was this, and it was that. It was all this other stuff. Now it's, I know how I can, and again, none of this stuff is, I know how I can help people. I know how I can, steer people clear of drugs and everything else. His whole thing was, I know how I can drink. I know how I can get access to alcohol. I'll offer this. I'll go to schools. I'll be a counselor. I'll change my whole YouTube gimmick from the last time you saw me. I was to now hey kids. Take it from me. Drugs are a no-no. Take a shot. I mean, I'd be insulted if I were the state of Minnesota to think that would work. So that apparently got nixed. That idea they did not think was a good one. Outside of that, my inside source has very little knowledge of what the deal could be other than kind of the time frame of probation, and that the probation is going to include both drugs and alcohol. That's what he knows, and that offer was made. And then somebody else told me that when Nick was negotiating with Rumble, he straight-faced told them, you should put me on your board of directors because I've got some great ideas. You got to give the guy credit. I mean, it's gall. It really is gall. So then he sent me some things about kind of the more personal end of this. And the more personal end of this looks like this. And I'm going to be careful here because there's things I can say and there's things I can't say. As I look, I'll try to read these. Talking about April. Apparently someone gave Nick an ultimatum that said you can live the good Christian trad life or you can have your blonde whore. And he had to be put to a choice. And he could have chosen April. If he wanted her, he could have had her. He said no, he denied her, he rejected her, said no thank you. So April has been denied. That's all got to go. That's all got to be finished because someone somewhere, whether it was a relative, friend, whatever, laid down the law and said it's either this or that. Now, my source also says with all of this situation, he's never held any of the cards. Other people have. I know she's your ex-wife, but I make no apologies. April, that silly fuck, didn't realize how much power she had. And then he said in a couple of sentences later, the man is broken. He says, I'm not going to share specifics, but I'll say he sounds like a lovesick teenager. It's fucking sad to see. This isn't what he wants to do, but he wasn't given much of a choice. It turns out you bailed just in time. Well, I mean, it's not really what I'm worried about. And then I asked the person, I said, so he actually wants April. And my source says it's not just April. He wants whatever he wants. That was very interesting. That was very interesting. So Nick was put to a decision by people. And it was, you gotta go with the whore or you gotta cut her loose. You gotta go with the side piece or you gotta cut her loose. And he told her, hit the bricks. That was apparently the choice. And his choice was, she gotta go. And then he gets into the trying to offer to be a counselor, school visitor, and YouTube personality, talking about the harms of taking drugs. And he offered that so that they would let him drink while he was on probation. I believe that one because that lines up with the Nick I know. Nick has this idea that he's starting off on a higher intellectual plane than the other people who are laughing at him because, he thinks because he can't see their intellect, he must be on a higher plane. They're just up so much higher than him. He literally thought, he's like, well, I want to drink. So if I want to drink, I'll just offer them something. And because I'm offering them anything, they'll just give me what I want. They'll just give me my way because I'm offering something. And then if they say no, he chimps out and he goes, well, they're being unfair. I offered and they're just too stupid. And that was that comment he made not long ago where he's like, I just have to make the prosecution see and understand that it's just a waste of their time to... You can't be the guy who makes a YouTube personality about not taking drugs and talking to kids at schools when the whole reason you made the deal was so you could abuse substances like alcohol is a substance. So that was wild to hear. And then to hear that Nick kind of got tard wrangled, that's been a theory a lot of people had. And that turned out to be true. So that actually makes me feel not bad for April because she made her bed. But now she's twisting in the wind. Now what the fuck is she going to do? Because that house is sold. She's out. She's done. I don't know what you do from there. Hey, you know what the best part is? Not my pig, not my farm. Let's catch up with it. So that's the gossip I have for you guys. That's the inside scoop. Again, that came from someone who claims that they talked to Nick directly, and that's what they know. I will not reveal my source. As long as I didn't mention names, they said we could use that on the show. Mr. Me with $5 says, drunk Nick impression. Thanks, $5. Jack Brennan with $20 says, I'm loaded right now and want to bang ape. Can I have plea hearing, please? What? Thank you very much, Jack Brennan. I appreciate your candor. Thanks for the $20. What is that now? 95 away from tonight. All right, let's go ahead and let's catch up with the chat here. Let's go all the way down. JMB says, Aaron, that's a lie. She looks 40. I'm trying to be nice. Good on Brett Mack says, good on you, bud. Got out before the dirty bomb went off. Well, it's not like I got out unscathed, We all got to learn lessons from this. Mr. Beat says, I love thinking I've got front row seats to the end of the world. Yankee says, court-ordered treatment never works. Yeah, that's kind of what the guy I talked to today said. He goes, if they're court-ordered not to drink or do drugs and they're not apologetic and they don't think they have a problem, they're not going to make it. In fact, I was looking this up. The largest percentage of people who offend when they're on probation for alcohol is the DUI. That's the thing that always ends up getting them. Chad Buzamok says, Chrissy got you the info. I'm not going to tell you who got me the info. Not going to do that. Deutsch Chad says, I'm an addict myself, and if you don't get help, 1% of addicts stay clean. Right. It's one of those things where he's bargaining. He's still in the bargaining stage of mourning when it comes to losing alcohol. He's bargaining with the state. I'll turn my YouTube, the thing that used to make him millions doing the Johnny Depp trial and stuff like that. He's like, I will take that. I will take my whole online existence, which is essentially his whole existence because he's just blabbing to strangers online. He's saying, I will take my entire existence and way to make money and gear it all towards just saying how shitty drugs are if you'll just let me drink. I mean, that to me screams problem. Screams problem. His behavior isn't unique among addicts. He has every character defect. JMB says, I bet they denied that faster than to lift Ralph's warrants. Rusty Grammar just says, you have to be fucking shitting me. Again, this is a source that claims they got this directly from Nick himself. That's what he claims. Turd Burglar says, so his proposal was an actual bit from the Chappelle show. Yes, he did the, what's his name? The Tyrone Bigham's bit where he went and took a shit in the trash can at the school. Yeah, he did that. Yeah, that same exact thing. Now that you mention it, it's the same bit. Deutsch Chad simply writes, whoa, buddy. McBuster says the court is used to dealing with addicts and alcoholics daily. Nick is such a sheltered Nepo kid, he will never beat random testing for 2 years. MSO says that would be like Aaron starting a Weight Watchers club. Fucking hell. Cheeseburger Pie says, does Nick want me to stop by with some whiskey? Atomic Ray says he's still on some shit. No way someone goes from attorney to lawyer and offer their legal advice for punishment. We have suffered enough, Nick. You suffer. Jonesy the Cat says Nick could have totally fed people stories knowing you do exactly this. No, this is a guy who... This is a guy... let's just put it this way. This is a vetted source, and they're good. Royston S. Bailey with $2 says staying out of trouble and stacking W's. I don't see this as stacking a W at all. I got my own problems that I got to get through. This was just really interesting gossip that I thought everybody else would be interested in. It comes from a source. You know, like Legal Mindset claimed that he had a source who directly dealt with Nick and had heard some things. This is a source that I have that directly deals with Nick. Mr. Me with $2 says get touch Nick. $1 from the Pants Maestro. Says based on one anonymous source with no verification. Right. Hey, always be skeptical. Always be skeptical. Poe says, LOL, Mr. Mackie Ricada. Drugs are bad, okay? You shouldn't do drugs because they're bad, okay? Chad Buzamok says, I kind of have a feeling Aaron seems to have a little ill will toward this Nicholas fella. Not at all. Not at all. Salt of the earth. I hope he turns everything around. I hope that new YouTube channel about the dangers of drugs. I hope he doesn't do that. Do you know how bad people would fucking roast him? He doesn't deal well with being criticized online as it is. Could you imagine a whole... Like, he'll probably come back to a couple hundred people. Well, the first one might be a couple thousand just to watch a train wreck. But regularly a few hundred people. And coming back and actually with a straight face telling them drugs are bad, okay? When they saw him with sheetrock dust on his nose. I mean, Jesus Christ. Turd Burglar says, damn, so she left and he dumped her. Yeah. Jonesy the Cat says, you married that whore, dumbass. Look, I think that goes without saying. Let's see. Sam Show says, April, 6K, just to prove the body cam footage. April, if you don't, I won't call you a coke. Or if you do, I won't call you a coke whore for 30 seconds. I don't think. McBuster says, Nick wants Aaron. April was a consolation. Billy Bob Norris says, Nick really thought he could out-lawyer or out-4D chess the courts. Either that or it's just desperation. I mean, alcoholism is... I don't think he knows how much of an alcoholic he might be. I mean, to offer to change... Like, I'll spend all my free time... Because remember, this is the guy who complains, I've got so many kids, I don't know what to do. I'm old Mother Hubbard over here running around all the time. I will take every waking moment of my free time to talk about how drugs are bad if you'll just let me drink. Damn. Too bad Nick didn't start blaming Rumble for giving a platform for his destruction. Could have added another layer of shit to the compost pile of YouTubers. Hulkamasha Baby says, you missed my rant. He says, hey kids, this is what a line looks like. This is what a snort tray looks like. And this is how you alternate nostrils, kids. Now, who wants to try Mr. Ricada's fun powder? I don't think a hands-on lesson is what's necessary. Let's continue on here. We got a lot of chats coming in. Pants Maestro with $1. We did that one. Pro tip, Find a substitute drug they don't test for. I think the alcohol one is the toughest one. That would be the toughest, the one to find a replacement for. How reliable is this source of yours on a scale of 1 to 10, says Triple N? 8.5. 8.5. Aaron, he knows everything. You don't know shit. Yeah, well, that's what I know. That's the update for today. Like I said, I don't know if a plea hearing means that you pled out and you pled guilty or not, but I'd imagine I'm leaning 90-10 that today was the date that a deal was cut. But now, until January 25th, you've got to you got to keep it quiet so you don't fuck the whole thing up. All right, guys, we got to, we'll move on now. I didn't want to spend too much time on that because we do have the Nick Mullen, Dan Soder thing too. So we got a couple of Rekieta related items here. 279 from Seize the Day says, many praying for Nick and God is good. Bless him and his fam. Look, man, a lot of people love a redemption story. You know, they love admitting you done wrong and improving rather than digging your heels in and defending yourself. And, you know, I saw this. I've been watching that Apple TV, The Morning Show, and they raised a good point. They go, America loves a person who admits they fucked up and tries to improve because all of those people know that they've fucked up before and they like to see that you can fuck up and get better. And that the thing America loves just as much as tearing someone down is watching them, you know, claw their way back up. Kind of gross in that way. All right, guys, thank you very much for your contributions. $95 away from overtime tonight. Thank you very much. Just a last little push, and we'll get that all knocked out. Thank you very much for your generosity. So, two guys that I find very funny released a podcast today, Dan Soder and Nick Mullen. And apparently Nick Mullen, just out of nowhere, they were talking about people who have had the world in their hands and then it all went to shit and they threw it away. And Nick Mullen brought up Nick Rekieta. And, you know, remember we watched Fish Tank Live and Alex Stein was, what did he call it? The parable? Did he call it the parable of Steel Toe or the parable of Nick Rekieta? I think he called it both at different times. Well, now Nick Mullen is educating Dan Soder. Dan Soder's his Bert in this situation on the parable of Rekieta or the parable of Steel Toe. And this is a clip from their show today.
Hang out with an alcoholic that hasn't gotten clean yet. You know, you go to a bar, they'll be happy. You're just like, hey, I can take you here. Why don't you have a couple of beers? And they're like, I love this. And you go, because I know what you like.
Right.
But a guy that's like never had a drink and is like way too Christian, you're kind of like, I don't even know what you like. You might be into some shit that I have no idea.
There's a guy on YouTube that I kind of like, I don't really know too much about his, like what he does. Cause the whole YouTube world is sort of new to me, really. You know, he's like a lawyer.
Sure.
That gained some following on YouTube because he covered the Kyle Rittenhouse. He would like live stream the Kyle Rittenhouse trial.
Here's what's going on. He'd like break it down like ESPN for law.
He did that with the Amber Heard trial too.
Got it.
And then I guess his thing was he would like have a glass of scotch on stream. You know, he'd drink his scotch and like do his stream and talk about legal stuff. But I would imagine prior to this, he was a guy that he lived in Minneapolis. He's like fucking, you know, he's got a family.
Lawyer.
He's a lawyer, upper middle class guy.
Yeah, just goes to work.
And then like
fucking nailed. I mean, his family might be a little more than upper middle class, but yeah, I mean, that's Nick Mullen has set it up pretty much perfect so far.
Got famous on YouTube, and then he would have his glass of scotch, and then I just saw a clip. It's like a 45-second long clip, and the first one is him a couple of years ago where he's like, he's got the drink. He's like, it's not a good choice or a bad choice. It's just a choice. You know, if you can't control it, don't drink. Because I guess it's in response to someone like, hey, you drink a lot.
You're a glass of scotch every case. You're doing 2 cases a day.
And then it cuts to him, I guess, recently. He's lost 100 pounds. He's like fucking like I mean, he looks like he's on fentanyl. Oh, you know, he's like completely fucked up. And I guess it's like he he got arrested. The police found like a whole ounce of cocaine. His like kids tested positive for cocaine. Him and his wife got arrested.
So this guy got famous.
There was another YouTube.
No, Nick. We don't know. No, Nick. That part's not important. We don't need to talk about another couple being any. Nick. No, you were doing so great. That was perfect. Nick, that was good.
Famous.
There was another YouTube couple living with them, and they were all fucking each other.
Dude, I gotta.
That's not what that not important, Nick. Not important. Lest I was one of the fuckies. No, but it's I was watching this, and while I was watching it, I was like, I just don't have that gene in me, to like lean in and go all the way, like abandon everything else and just go, this is it, like, rah. It just, like, I was in too deep with the whole thing almost right away. And you're like, oh, I know this is not good. Like, I've talked about that church service I was at, and I was like, they're talking about me, and it's fucking wrong, and that's bad. And eventually you get the fuck out, because you're like, you just weigh the pros and cons. You're like, this is just not worth it. Like, there's no good ending for this. But then, like, the other people don't see it. And you just wonder sometimes, you're like, how the fuck do you not? And then after it all blows up in your face, how do you not admit that this is all a giant fuck up? That's the other part that just baffles me.
Look at this. I gotta look at
like, I got into it and I realized, I've used the Nas line before. Got in them shoes, tried them, wore them, wasn't a perfect fit, so I couldn't sport them. I wasn't about that life. I couldn't hang. I can't handle it. I like sitting back on Sundays and watching Vikings games too much. I like, I've said, I like going to Menards and pretending I know how to do shit. Some days I just like to sit and binge watch Landman or The Morning Show or Mad Men again, I'm just not about that life, that all go, no quit, just shove shit in your nose, shove it down your throat, shove it in someone, like that all go, no quit. I know that Nick had said to somebody at some point on Twitter, I think, where he said, yeah, a lot of people just don't have the means to do it. And if they had the means to do it, then they would fucking go insane and they would do it. I found out that I'm really not that guy. Because like means or no means, it's just like, no, that's too much. That's just too much everything. Everything that it is, it's just too much of it.
I gotta find this, but that's what
it's crazy because it's fucking YouTube.
Well,
and like some guy got I got 100,000 people watching my stream, and then he just goes casino. I mean, like it's like,
but that's what happens because the people that used to make music,
ace, dude. I'm fucking
But people that used to make music and would get like that kind of pussy.
Yeah.
Now you see them go like, well, we don't have that anymore. It's
but
gone.
that's the thing. It's not even like the pussy. You're sitting in your house still.
Yeah.
It's like you have a little bit more money, but it's like something about just that exposure. You're like, well, I guess I got to be a drug addict and have a third.
God damn, I'm gonna.
But that's the thing is, it's like not everybody does that. You know who does that is the people who take it too seriously. Again, they get those parasocial relationships and they don't go out and touch grass. Nick's a victim of that, of his own behavior. But like, he didn't touch grass enough, and he valued the opinions of these strangers on the internet more than people in the real world, and he wanted to seem cool to them, and and it's not, people go, oh, the money and the notoriety. It's not that. It's once you start believing your own bullshit and you eliminate anyone who's trying to check you, and you eliminate anyone who's trying to hold up a mirror, and you start Ray Feinstein and Red Dragon and smashing all the mirrors, or anyone who tries to show you a reflection that you don't like, you kick them the fuck out. That's what it is. It's not about money. It's about inability to see yourself or not wanting to see yourself. Again, in my opinion. Seize the Day with 279 says Nick needs to atone to God and his dear ones, not us. TJ with 199 says a horse is your source, of course. I didn't say that a horse is my source. I did not say that. Oh boy. Dead Game says Nick Mullen is talking about your ass. Nick Mullen is not talking about my ass. Oh. I do not like that Nick Mullen included me in all that. There was no reason to. Oh, wow, look at this. Mr. Beat says, looks to me like Aaron is the most honest, full of shit podcaster in this twisted universe. Believe me, that's not saying much. Yeah, damned by faint praise, if you will. McBuster says, Kiki and April gossip. Nah, there's some things that Kiki's told me about her conversations with April that I won't take public. It's too damaging. It's not... Like, the stuff we shared about Nick, that's like fun gossip. That's fun, silly gossip. Nobody's going to get fucked over or whatever by that. It's just kind of more of what we already know. The stuff Keanu told me about April, that's not fun gossip. That's hurting people. I don't, and I told her I wouldn't say anything on the air, so I'm not going to. Chad Buzamok says, yeah, right. You love that Mullen or anyone is talking to you. Or talking about you. No, I don't. No, it's not about a stinky pussy. Stop that. All right, so now we're done with that for today. If you came for the goss, if you came for any of that stuff, it's all over. You can, if you came for that, you can tap out. About almost 500 of you checking out the show right now. Thank you very much. Hit like, hit subscribe. We appreciate it. Goal-wise, we've stagnated a little bit. We're at $95. Let's knock that out. You guys have been awesome tonight. I appreciate it. Get on that PayPal and that Venmo. We're still waiting to christen those two tonight. Let's go on a $95 rally in the next half hour, and then we don't have to rattle the cans, which is always a whole bunch of fun. Thanks again. What is it, 95? We can knock that out 5-10 at a time. Thanks for your support, guys. Well, it looks like San Francisco is fucking up again. More businesses are deciding to leave the city because you're just allowed to go in with a duffel bag and fill it up full of free shit and walk the fuck out and nobody can do anything to you. Safeway is now shuttering its location in the Fillmore neighborhood of San Francisco due to ongoing concerns about associate and customer safety, as well as persistent issues with theft. Now, if you don't know, San Francisco is one of these cities that's experimented with cocaine. No, that's experimented with this idea that we let people shoplift. We don't stop them because then that could be a safety issue. The person robbing us could shoot the clerk. I shot the clerk, and it could escalate. So for the sake of de-escalation, which is one of their favorite words out there, they said, don't have security confront them. Don't have the workers confront them. Don't call the police in till after they're gone. And like in some cases, the city council has even said, if it's theft of under a certain amount of dollars, we're not going to fucking worry about it, which I can't imagine gives you a vote of confidence in the business community. So now San Francisco has enacted that, and ever since, it's just a lot of shit is behind lock and key at a lot of stores, especially the black hair care products. And like we have a Walmart in St. Cloud where the, not only the deodorant, but like underwear and socks are behind lock and key at the Walmart out in St. Cloud by the Holiday Inn off of 15. Or at least the last time I was in there, it was a couple of years ago. And it's because people just fucking steal the things, and there's no consequences for them. They said, we remain committed to serving San Francisco at our 15 remaining locations for now, and to ensure that our unionized workforce can perform their jobs in safe and secure working environments. Let's go ahead and check out the news reports.
Well, James, the clock is ticking on anybody who wants to go to this Safeway in the Fillmore district. They actually wanted to close it in spring, but as you mentioned, the city pushed for them to continue going, and they signed an 11th-month extension.
Wow, what a dog shit move by the city. So the city that made these policies that have completely fucked you over, you let them know, we're leaving. Like, you just let people rob us blind. We can't make money here. We're tapping out. And the city goes, oh, come on, you fucking pussies. Just stay, please. It's like, we're in this position because of you. I know. Just hang around for a little bit. A little bit? Are you out of your fucking mind? Yes, we're San Francisco, of course. We're out of our fucking mind.
But now it says it will close on February 7th of next year. So less than 2 months from now. They tried and tried to make it work. It's actually been here for 40 years. But they said retail theft, as far as, people going in there, grabbing things, so horrible that they actually removed the self-checkouts. Then they were worried about the customers and the employees' safety, that they said it just was not cost-effective enough for them to continue going. And that's
what you understand. A lot of these corporate chain stores will operate at a loss to serve as a billboard so that when you go to another city, you'll see their store and you'll go into that one. That's what a lot of these places that pay high rent at strip malls and stuff like that, like the Albertville Outlet Mall. A lot of those places, because they're visible from the interstate, they'll pay exorbitant rent prices and not even turn a profit just so they can be a giant billboard for the next one down the road in the next city. Safeway doesn't even want to do that with this because they're losing so much fucking money because the city of San Francisco won't do shit to protect their citizens and the business owners.
That's why they announced that they will shut this down. Many people don't like it. In fact, it was their resistance.
You know what? Fuck the people too, because you could step in and stop these people too. You could do something about it. The store could do something about it. The city could do something about it. The people can do something about it. What's the old saying about evil flourishes when good people do nothing? There you go. Now these union grocery store workers all lost their jobs. They've got to go figure something else out. They live in one of the most expensive cities in America, all because you didn't want people to feel bad if you arrested them for shoplifting.
That caused the city to step in, to talk to Safeway, to have even 11 months extra for it to continue. But February 7th is the deadline. Many people are fearful, James, that without this Safeway in place, it would create a food desert. Many people, there are a lot of places around here that they can walk to the Safeway. And with its closing, the nearest Safeway is about 1 to 2 miles from this location in the Castro district. And that's tough for a lot of people who don't have access to transportation or simply.
Well, yeah, I mean, how do you fucking drive in San Francisco? You spent all your money on rent. That sucks, man. Mr. Me with $5 says, give me a trunk, Nick. I'm a fucking dancing monkey. Jesus. Why is that thing so on? RP Jesus with $2 says, your boy Kirk got benched for Penix. Is it official? Can we get an independent source to back that up? Gil boy. Michael Penix taking over for Kirk Cousins. Entry. Falcons bench Kirk Cousins for Michael Penix Jr. That is huge. You understand, they've guaranteed $90 to $100 million of Kirk Cousins' contract, and they're sitting him for the rookie that they drafted this year. Not only that, they're in the middle of a division race. Like, if they win this week and Tampa Bay loses, the Falcons are in first place again. So they're benching their $140 million quarterback for the rookie. And I think number one, not being with Kevin O'Connell anymore hurt Kirk. But also that Achilles at that age, he's never fully recovered from it. Like, we played him last week, so we got to see we got a front row look at Kirk Cousins. He's not the same. He doesn't have the same zip on the ball. His arm's a little bit less. He can't step into his throws and push off. I don't know what Atlanta's supposed to do. I mean, I don't even think it's a questionable move. I mean, Kirk has almost as many interceptions as he does touchdowns. He's struggling a lot. He's even less mobile than he used to be after the injury. He's a statue back there. They're going to see what Michael Penix Jr. has got. They're going to see if they have their quarterback of the future in Michael Penix. I mean, Atlanta's going to be eating that Kirk contract for quite some time. Over the cap Falcons. Let's see what Kirk's cap number is for the next few years. So this year, his cap number is $25 million. Next year, his cap number is $40 million, 27.5 guaranteed. The following year, his cap number is $57 million, but it's not guaranteed. How does that make any sense, though? That doesn't make any sense because that would mean that 12.5, 27.5, that's only $42 million guaranteed. He had more guaranteed than that. Oh, but you have the signing bonus too. Okay. I see. So if you cut him next year, you still owe $25 million against the cap. I'm sorry. There's $90 million of dead money if you cut him this year. $65 million in dead money if you cut him next year. $25 million in dead money if you cut him in 2026, but still a cap savings of $32 million. And then you've got $12.5 million in dead money for 2027 too. So for the next 4 years, you've got dead money on your cap because of Kirk. Whew. And you're already benching him. You're not even through year one. That is tough. Turd Burglar says, no contract will ever be as bad as Deshaun Watson. Yeah, do you guys want to take a look at Johnny Payton number 8 with 199 says, a Mexican, a Jew, and a colored go to a bar. Bartender says leave. Fucking dick. $90 away, guys. Hey, do me a favor. Everybody rally up, whether it's on Rumble, YouTube, PayPal, or Streamlabs. We're $90 away. Let's get really, really close. We appreciate it. No, Von Kaiser, it is not Michael Penis Jr. Browns are crippled for the next decade. Yeah, but how many exactly? When you go to Cleveland Browns, Deshaun Watson, how is he not on this list? Oh, because he's on the IR. Okay. 25. So Deshaun Watson next year, $172 million in dead cap money. If the Browns cut Deshaun Watson, they will have a cap savings of negative $99 million, meaning it will cost them $99 million more against the cap next year to keep him and sit him than it will to cut him. They are $16 million under the cap for next year as it sits right now. That Deshaun Watson contract has fucking crippled them. If they cut him in 2026, $99 million in dead money, negative $26 million in cap savings. 2027 is the first year they would break even on his contract if they cut him. So not this year, not next year, not the year after that, but the year after that, they would get $0 in cap savings and $26.8 million in dead money. And then 2028's a void year in his contract. So is 2020. Oh, so 27, 28 are void years in his contract, meaning he's not on the team, but his salary still counts against the cap. It is the worst deal that any team has ever signed so far. I'll tell you this, that Dak Prescott deal isn't looking very good over in Dallas. Ooh. That is not. The Vikings, we have the opposite problem. We have a $10 million quarterback and we have a rookie quarterback, and we got to figure out, are we going to take the $10 million guy and are we going to extend him and then sit our big, 10th overall stud rookie, face of the franchise, future of the Minnesota Vikings? Are we going to sit him for another couple of years and let Sam Darnold keep playing? Or is Sam Darnold going to want to hit the free agent market and make as much money as he can? That's the question about Sam Darnold that we're facing. And honestly, after watching him last night, I'm comfortable with letting him go. I think if Kevin O'Connell can do this with Sam Darnold, I think he can do just as well with J.J. McCarthy. They're both first-round talents. I think they'll be good. All right, I'm talking sports. I'm sorry. I'll move on. Every time I talk sports on Steel Toe, it's fucking gay. It's for dorks. I got it. We've also got 18 minutes before we have to rattle the cans, and we're $90 away. So I better bring you guys some decent shit. or we're not gonna make it for this evening. By the way, we talked about San Francisco. That was a two-part story. So on one hand, you have Safeway leaving. And Safeway is leaving because fuck this. You just let people break in. You let people steal shit. We're not allowed to stop them. We're not allowed to call the cops. We basically have to be victimized. That puts a big sign on our back. People come in. They rob us blind. We lose money. We can't stay open. It's going to, I think, honestly, in cities like San Francisco and New York, you just need Daniel Pennies. I'm not saying they got to kill people, but you need people who are willing to step up, stand up for people, and defend their city from people who want to loot it, rob it, and fuck it. And the Daniel Penny thing has kind of made that a scarier thing for most people, because even though Daniel Penny got acquitted, he still had to go through hell just to maintain his freedom. Well, here's a barista in San Francisco, and you know, sometimes your heroes come from the weirdest places. You wouldn't think barista equals tough guy, but in this case, this is security footage from a coffee shop in San Francisco who, again, I'm not going to blame the robber here. I would think that was a soft target too. Thank you, Stephen Bravo, for gifting a membership to the Toe. We appreciate it, buddy. Hey, I got an idea. Everybody start gifting some memberships. Everybody start throwing into PayPal and Venmo. Everybody start throwing a couple bucks at the Toe, and we'll get this $90 all knocked out tonight. Thank you, guys. So there's no sound on this, by the way. Guy walks in, and oh shit, I didn't see that customer at first. So there's a guy sitting right there, and this customer comes in. This robber comes in, and he's gonna start fucking with this customer first and foremost. And the barista is not having it. Oh, nice. He uses the cart. Takes him down. Okay, those are not the best. Those are barista punches right there. What is he doing? Was he opening like a can of root beer in his face? What is this, an ICP concert? Or is that Mace? Oh, that's fucking He's got mace? Was that a mace can that he's got? Are we using fucking is the barista a mixed martial arts guy, or is this like mixed martial arts, or is this some shit he saw on TV and he's trying to copy it? Which one is it? It looks like he might be trying to copy some UFC shit. And then a bunch of people come running in to help the guy. And they pull him. Oh, it does look like that's a mace can. Okay. Boy, I tell you, that robber's fighting off two people at once. He's not doing a bad job. There's the mace can. All right. Get him. Get him. Come on. Spray it. Come on. Get a good shot and get him with it. Who had the mace can to start off? Was it the robber, or was it our boy? Well, he's got him now. He's down. He's trying to get up. I mean, this robber's got some fight in him, dude. He's got to maintain back control. He's taking his back, but he's got to keep it under control. So who did he come in with the mace? Yeah, he did. Okay, so it was his. Oh, yuck. He missed him. He shot it right over his head. Missed his eyes. Ooh, he got him in the mouth. Ah, God, fuck. Some of that had to hit, right? Either way, you're burning like a motherfucker. I've been pepper sprayed before. That shit is no fun. No, not by a girl. Pepper spray is not fun. But, you know, dude, it's going to take shit like that. It's going to take individuals stepping up and stopping people like that, because it's not going to, it's like the city's not going to do anything. They've shown it before now, many, many times. They've shown they're not going to do shit to help anyone. It's political correctness now. It's not looking like you're a mean, backward city. Really, I don't know what the rationale is anymore. Jacob with $5 says, what's your favorite ancient civilization? Is it hacky if I say Greece? Greece is my favorite ancient civilization. Maybe Rome. No, I think I'm a Rome guy. It's not Persia. The Mongol Empire is too modern. That's not ancient. If you let me go with Rome, I'll go with Rome. I'm going to say Rome 1, Ancient Egypt 2, Greece 3rd. Also, Nicholas, my golfing buddy, with $10 over on PayPal. There we go, boys and girls. Thank you very much. That's 15 coming in. Hey, boys. Hey, guys. Hey, girls. $75 away from knocking out the goal here on the toe. Keep it going. We still got 12 minutes before we got to rattle the cans and see if we can rally our way into this. But hey, we're only $75 away. That was the first PayPal and Venmo of the night. No reason it has to be the last. Go ahead and chip in a little bit more. You guys are the absolute best. Thank you so much for the contributions. Rusty Grammar says Mogadishu is my favorite ancient civilization. The Nords all the way, says Puerto Rican prostate puncher. The Nords, do you mean like the Vikings? Because, again, does that count? That's like 1100. I don't think that's considered antiquity. Mr. Beat says Rome's aqueducts and water mills were extremely impressive for the time. Oh, dude, as evidence that once Rome collapsed in the West, like that infrastructure and technology went away for hundreds of years. It took them to like get back to anything that was similar. Like they took stones out of the Colosseum. They quarried great buildings and aqueducts so they could build shitty stone houses. Like you literally watched people not be able to maintain what they had before, and you had to watch them build a shittier civilization next to the shell of a great one. Had to be wild. That would be one of my top 5 places that I'd want to go visit if there was a time machine and like you could be in the bubble and like nobody'd throw a fucking spear through your heart for being on their Lord's land, is the Dark Ages right after the fall of Rome. Like give us like 50, 60 years after the fall of Rome, the Western Empire, and just to watch and see what that is. I think that would be pretty wild. And then, of course, the Eastern Roman Empire, which later became known as the Byzantine Empire, they survived until 14... God damn it, I know this. The sack of Constantinople, 1452. When did the Byzantine Empire fall? 1452. Byzantine Empire fell in 1453. Fucker! When the Ottoman Turks conquered Constantinople, its capital city, marking the end of the empire. So I was a year off. So the Roman Empire in the East lasted almost 1,100 years after, longer than the Western one did. Western Roman Empire fell in 373 AD. Fall of the Western Roman Empire, 373. 476. Fucker! Odoacer. That's Odoacer. Odoacer was the warlord that conquered Rome for the last time. It was Alaric the Visigoth that first sacked Rome, though, and I think that was 373. When did Alaric sack Rome? 410. So I'm full of shit all the way. Odoacer. They had some cool names back then, man. They got to bring back names like, people are naming their kids like Odin and Thor now. That's fine. That's great. But where are all the Odoacers and Alarics and shit like that? Nobody's named Odoacer anymore. Turd Burglar says, you go back in time and help the Jews kill Jesus to hit the goal. Wait, what? I would never do such a thing. Not the kill Jesus part, but the help the Jews. What do you... Wow. Why would I? McBuster says, history isn't Aaron's forte. Stick to Eric Church and WWE. Suck my asshole. Are you telling me that being 1 year off of the fall of the Byzantine Empire is... I'm not gonna sit here and take this malarkey, take this fucking abuse when I got stories we can get to. I got 5 arrested and 4 officers injured in a high school brawl. Dude, some of these schools need to be like Safeways in San Francisco. They just need to be shut down. There's no other way to get like the message across or to like stop this shit. Like some of these schools are just untenable. You got schools where they're literally just starting fights and beating the fuck out of the officers that are supposed to be there to keep it safe. Let's play this one real quick. And then let's make that $75, guys. What do you say? Streamlabs, PayPal, Venmo, Super Chats, Rumble Rants. I love you guys. Thank you for giving us a fun show tonight. I want to do 30 minutes of overtime. What do you say?
While responding to a brawl at a Southside high school today, investigators also revealing that 5 arrests were made at Inglewood STEM High School on South Normal and 68th. Cell phone video shows the chaos that unfolded during that fight, which involved at least 100 students on 3 different floors. We've blurred the video because some minors were involved. Parents quickly came to pick their children up. One father says his 15-year-old son got caught up in the fray and was handcuffed while police calmed the crowd.
Oh, yeah, that's always what happens. You know, I hate that. That's really terrible. You know, that happens a lot in these big school brawls. It's just the saddest goddamn thing, you know? It's just unfortunate. You know, all these kids, they get in this big fight, and then there's kids beating the living shit out of each other, kicking guys in the head while they're down, beating up officers and everything. And then wouldn't you know it, they always arrest this one kid. They think he's some kind of bad guy who beat the shit out of people. And then we're told by their parents that they just got caught up with the wrong crowd. They weren't doing anything wrong. Matter of fact, you know what I find out from a lot of these parents? That those kids were their baby, and they wouldn't hurt anybody. I bet you those cops feel so stupid when they arrest these kids and they talk to those parents and the parents let them know, actually, officer, you got the wrong kid. My boy didn't do nothing. And the cops got to throw his arms up and go, every fucking time I must be the biggest dingleberry on the force. I'm always arresting the wrong kid. They're always completely harmless and a gentle giant. You wouldn't believe my luck.
He said it was a girl fight at first, and then just it got so big that everybody started fighting.
My daughter. Wow, that never happens. Fucking 2 people. I don't get that either. 2 people start throwing punches. Now all of a sudden everybody just decides they have to like pick a partner like it's a fucking school dance. And they got to start punching each other in the head. God damn it. It's so fucking tribal.
They had called me, told me it was a huge fight at her school.
Wait, one more time. There was a what?
It was a huge fight at her school.
A Herge fight? Guy, can we get these Herges to stop fight? I didn't even know we called them Herges now. There was a fight. There was a Herge fight. Is that what we call a group of them? A Herge? I'm not up on the new lingo. I thought that was politically incorrect. I could be wrong.
They had called me, told me it was a huge fight at her school.
There was a Herge fight at the school. You guys know? You catching all this? There was a Herge fight at the school.
My daughter had called me, told me it was a huge fight at her school, and they had the building on lockdown, and she could not get dismissed until I come and pick her up.
Because of the Herge fight at the school. Unless you come pick up your daughter, we can't release her from the Herge fight that's going on at this school. No way.
Police on the scene tell us no weapons were involved. The 4 officers who were hurt were treated at the hospital for minor injuries.
Meaning they were injured by a minor. It's just like that last, when I say new, it's like the last 15, 20 years. Like a school fight happens and it's just like instantly everyone feels like they have to jump the fuck in. For what reason, I have no idea. But they just feel like everybody, like, oh shit, there's a fight. Everybody just go in and everybody here. Do you have a beef with that person? No. Fuck him. Punch him in the face. What do you want to be? Left out like a pussy? And then everyone who gets punished and everyone who gets suspended and everyone who gets arrested, wouldn't you know it? They didn't do anything and none of their friends saw a goddamn thing. It's just the damnedest thing, you guys. Good show tonight, buddy, says Camel Toe with $20. Thank you, Camel Toe. Very kind of Camel Toe to grace us with their presence tonight. That brings us 55 away from this evening. And then Steven with $1 just says toe. Thank you for the $1, Steven. I appreciate it. All right, guys. $55 away. This thing is pretty goddamn doable. If you ask me, Streamlabs, PayPal, Super Chats, Rumble Rants. Thank you very much. Keep it going. And we'll call this another win for the toe. Oh, we have we got about 2.5 minutes before we rattle the cans and see it. Well, if we get inside of 50, we don't rattle the cans at all in the last 5 minutes, and we're at 55 right now. So we'll see what happens the next 2.5 minutes. But we do have a lot of stories left for overtime, and we can go check the breaking news as well. But we have an old lady who got scammed out of $20,000 because someone pretended to be Ari Melber. Who the fuck would trust Ari Melber with $20,000? I wouldn't trust Ari Melber into the front door of my own home. We also have a Donald Trump advisor collapsing at a gala and then using it as a chance to make a Joe Biden joke. That's called a recovery. Already, multiple documentaries planned on Luigi Mangione. How? I can handle that story now. We won't do that for overtime. How? We've known this guy for 4 days. It's just this opportunism, and it's going to be fucking dumb white girls who are going to like lionize him and make him look better than he actually is. He's a piece of shit who murdered a guy in cold blood. We got some numbers on that too. Like we got people apparently our age and younger are A-okay with the murder of the United Healthcare CEO. Seems a little fucked up. We've also got Donald Trump saying that he might privatize the Postal Service during his next 4 years. I don't know if you guys saw that CNN story about how CNN worked to free a Syrian prisoner, and it turns out the guy was one of Assad's most violent henchmen. We've got those stories and much more coming up for overtime. If you guys want to help us knock out tonight's goal. Oh, hey, Gord. I can let you out in a little bit, buddy. I promise. We got 40 seconds, and then I gotta talk to the audience here about. Thank you very much, Steven. Steven with $10 says toes. Wow. Thank you, Steven. That puts us $45 away from today's goal. All right, well, I have to do overtime for you now. But let's knock out that last 45. Vadam says, you were not on at 4 p.m. today. No, I wasn't on at 4 p.m. today because there was no Vikings game. Oh, look, now Gordy went and he went and laid down on his sack patiently like a good boy until we're all done. Until we're all done today. Hey, guys, do me a favor. Let's knock out that last $45 here in the last 5 minutes, and then I'll feel really comfortable going into overtime. Seize the day with 279. What the fuck? Seize the day with 279 writes, don't like you as a person, but you're funny sometimes. What the fuck did I do? Me? You don't like me as a person? What have I ever done to you? What, am I fucking abrasive? What have I ever done to fuck shit up? You think I'm a piece of shit? You know what? I get it now. I understand. You know what? Kind of tracks. Thank you, though, very much. You've been very generous tonight. Seize the day. I appreciate your contributions. Like I said, we're 45 away from tonight. Let's knock out that last 45 and call it another win for the toe. God damn. Das Optic. No, guys, you don't. No, we're not supposed to be on Seize the Day's side. Das Optic Nerve says, I like the cut of this Seize the Day fella's jib. No, whoa. Wait a minute. I appreciate the funny part. I like that. But don't like me as a person? I'm not a bad guy. I'm nice enough. I get good Christmas gifts. Someone says you should get Gordy a girlfriend. No, that sounds awful. He has a toy dog that he humps the fuck out of. He's fine. He aggressively, like he really gets the fuck after it. Rusty Grammar says it takes 5 days for me to mail something 30 miles away. They send it from Clear Lake to St. Paul to St. Michael. So efficient, so green. Yeah. Helgi says he ain't good at history, but by God, that hairline ain't good either. No, you don't understand. That's two bad things that you just said. That's not. You know what? No, you guys have to donate if you're going to shit all over me like that. If you guys are going to take Seize the Day's side, you can knock out this $45 goal. I don't care if it's YouTube, Rumble, gifted memberships. I don't care if it's PayPal, Venmo, whatever. If you're going to shit all over me and talk about my hairline or anything else, you can throw money in. And we can knock out this 45, and we can both call this a win. All right? How's that? Oh, also, Crunchy, what's the... Gray Duckling is currently $4.99 ahead of Crunchy. I don't like that this Seize the Day got my whole audience to turn on me like that. And go, Aaron, this Seize the Day, you know. Basically what my audience is telling me is, Aaron, you should kind of take that compliment. That's the best you're going to get. The fuck? All right, let's talk about this old lady who got scammed. I like this kind of shit. I think these old people are getting away with way too much sympathy. I think they do stupid shit. They go places they shouldn't be, like out. They go on the internet. They click around. They fuck around with shit. And then they lose $20,000. And they go, let's make a news story. Poor me. And then you listen to how they got scammed. And it's like, you don't deserve to have that money. You're too fucking dumb to keep it. These are the same people who fall for reverse mortgages. We shouldn't be letting them have financial control over their lives. Let's go ahead and find out how this chick got screwed out of $20,000. By all means. Oh, an ad first.
Shocking crime.
Well, that gives me a chance to remind you guys that we're still $45 away from tonight's goal. Seize the Day with 279 says, like your scared girl cry regarding drones. Do it again. I don't remember. Oh, when we were talking about the drones, you enjoyed that part. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. We're now $43 away from tonight's goal. All right, here we go.
We want to vomit.
I mean, it's pretty disgusting.
That guy's forehead is way worse than mine. Fuck you guys, honestly. Everyone in this story is far more repulsive than I am. I don't have to listen to you guys. This guy looks like if there was a pin or like a plug on Braun Strowman that would deflate him, he would be this guy.
Taylor family is sickened by the...
Look at that good puppy, though. Such a good puppy, Gord. That dog is such a good boy. He's such a good boy, Gord. You should see him. He's such a good boy.
Scam their mother's been dragged into that's turned the family inside out. Their 73-year-old mom, Patricia, is a big fan of cable news.
Not a strong case, although...
She's such a fan of MSNBC's Ari Melber that...
Why? Who the fuck is a fan of Ari Melber? That doesn't exist. This lady is full of shit. This 71-year-old got into like an international or an interracial relationship with one of those Nigerian scammers, and she's too embarrassed to tell her family. I would rather tell my family that a Nigerian and I had a sexual relationship and they just straight up stole money from me, even if it wasn't true, rather than say I got scammed by... I'm a big Ari Melber fan. That's more embarrassing. Like, it's easier, like if I had to lie to my parents and tell them I'm gay, and yes, that would be a lie. If I had to lie to my parents and tell them I'm gay to explain how I got scammed out of 20 grand, that would be less humiliating than saying, look, Mom and Dad, I'm an Ari Melber fan.
She messaged him on...
We shouldn't even know who Ari Melber is.
Facebook, or thought she did. It turned out to be a fake profile, and the craziness starts from there.
You're telling me that this 71-year-old broad messaged a person she thought was Ari Melber, so she was on Facebook, and she thought a guy with two friends named Ari Melber was the one from MSNBC. And then this guy who probably makes 6 to 7 figures a year working for MSNBC, she thought that guy would need her money. She deserves to lose this. Guys, let your mom lose her money. She wasn't doing very well with it.
Don't want to be with me anymore.
The fake Ari started texting Patricia.
Get a $500 Apple gift card.
Asking her to send...
Right, the guy doing anti-Trump commentary on the TV... He needs an Apple gift card, for the holiday season. You fuck. Like, people wonder, they're like, Aaron, why are you so mean to old people in these scamming stories? This is why. They deserve it. I'm sorry. They're shit.
And money and gift cards to treat his sick dog, Penny.
My mom is asking hey, you're on TV. Don't you have money? It's for Penny. Please don't let Penny die.
Yeah. Hey, 71-year-old stupid Mark, give me a $500 Apple gift card because that's how I buy all my doggy medicine. Please, guys, tell me where I'm supposed to be sympathetic. Please, I will listen to you. Tell me where I'm supposed to give a shit that someone this stupid. What's the saying in Rounders? It's immoral to let a sucker keep their money.
How deep into this is she now?
At least $20,000.
But the scam doesn't stop there.
Have you unplugged, have you turned off the breakers in her house and made her live like Charles McGill in Better Call Saul? Because she shouldn't be using any electronics.
The family says over the past 4 months, the scammer convinced Patricia they were in love and going to be married. He even sent a ring.
That's right. Ari Melb. Oh, great. You gave him 20 grand and he gave you a $500 cubic zirconia. You got him. You got him. Ari Melber is going to marry you. Sure.
In the ring, it's a $30 ring.
When Patricia got suspicious, the scammer doubled down.
When did Ari Melber turn into a scammer?
Followed by an AI-generated message using fake Ari's voice.
You're reading my messages and not responding. I'll never do that to you. Have you found someone else?
On Monday, Patricia boarded a plane from SeaTac to New York City to...
Oh, my God. Like, you didn't tell anybody about this so that they could say, Ma, you're full of shit. Ma, you're being scammed. This is embarrassing.
Meet her mystery man. Fortunately, a relative intercepted her during a layover in Portland and brought her home.
Jesus Christ. And then I hope you had a conservatorship established for her. Fucking Bill O'Reilly showed up in Portland. I want to save you from this and run away with you.
You fear might actually have happened if she got to New York?
I believe they would have asked for some type of ransom for her, that we have your mom, see how much money they could get out of us.
And then her kids are so dumb, they would have been like, Ari Melber, is that you? Why would you do this to us, you scoundrel?
All this despite 2 interventions with Patricia, who worked at both Boeing and the University of Washington for decades.
So she's not retarded. I mean, she's retarded, but she's not supposed to be retarded. She worked at a university and Boeing. So she's smart enough to make shit that we bomb Muslims with, but she's not smart enough to know a scam from Ari Melber.
How did she fall for this? How did she not see what was going on?
You know how you should have known it was a scam? Ari Melber wanted to fuck a woman. There. Exposed.
The Taylors fear their mom might try to meet up with the scammer again. They just want some way out of this mess.
Well, then she deserves it. I mean, again, how isn't the entire world on my side when it comes to elderly people falling for these scams? Cute fucking dog, by the way. Tell me how you're supposed to feel any sympathy for this dipshit.
We just want our mom back.
For the record, MSNBC says the real Ari Melber has no connection to this whatsoever.
And the real Ari Melber said in a statement, and I quote, "I ain't down with old wrinkled ass pussy."
Marysville police are investigating, and we have some tips for how you can protect your senior from scams like this. Just text the word scam to 206-448-4545.
How about this? When you text a scam line, they have to put at the bottom, message and data rates may apply. That's kind of fun. Oh, old people are the worst. They really are fucking terrible. Mom looks like she eats pasta from the truck stop buffet too. It's not a truck stop, it's a restaurant. It is it's a bar and grill restaurant kind of a thing. You psychos. Maybe if you would listen to me instead of obsessing over me, it would be different. Seize the day with 279 says, truly drones, scary bit. Was hilarious. Had me LOL. Oh, thank you. That's very nice of you. Hey, we're a whopping $42 away from tonight's goal. You guys got your overtime. Thank you very much. Now just throw in a couple of bucks and let's knock this thing out. Thank you so much. We're only a little bit away. Let's go ahead. We didn't have to do the last 5 minutes because we got inside of 50. That's cool. But now we just got to knock out the last 42. What do you say? What do you say, kids? We got about 23 minutes to do it. Let's hammer it out. Trump advisor issues statement after collapsing at gala. Now, he says that it's actually a pretty good line. He was giving a speech at a Trump event, and he collapsed on stage. His name's Alex Bruzewitz. He issued a statement Monday after collapsing on stage at the New York Young Republican Club Gala. Oh, boy, I bet you those guys know how to party. You want to go to the Young Republican Club Gala? Talk about their trust funds and last time their dad got him out of legal trouble because he plays golf with the judge. Attendees at the black tie event could be heard gasping on Sunday evening after Bruzewitz began to slur his words before collapsing with the lectern onto the stage floor. Bruzewitz addressed the incident in a social media post on Monday, nearly 24 hours later, joking, quote, "We are back. What a surreal experience. Maybe I took my Joe Biden impression a little too far." That's not bad. That's not a bad line. I think that collapsing on stage, though, like that's not, I don't think you should be out there giving speeches again. Like you shouldn't be out there just standing up giving a speech, especially if you're not an old guy. Like I understand Nancy Pelosi went somewhere and she shattered her hip in Luxembourg, going down some stairs or whatever. And Mitch McConnell face plants and shatters his fucking teeth on a regular basis. But like, if you're under 60 and you're doing a public event, you shouldn't be collapsing. We shouldn't be passing out. We shouldn't be getting lightheaded or anything like that. That's fucking weird, man. Like maybe public speaking isn't for you if every time you get out there, you just kind of go, ugh. Vidam says, I love watching Ed and Michelle eat at the buffet. Ed thinks he is. You will look, we're going to do more Ed and Michelle. People really enjoyed that on Friday. They really did. MSO says Aaron doesn't collapse on stage. He collapses the stage. See, that just seems like you went out of your way to be mean to me. And I'm going to be vulnerable with you for a moment. Fucking hurts my feelings, man. Hurts my feelings. Someone asking if they're vaxxed. Well, they're a Republican. They're not supposed to be. You're not supposed to be a Republican and be vaccinated. What are you, fucking gay, bro? You're supposed to be against the vax. The vax is supposed to be for Jews and Democrats. I think that's what it is. Sam Show says collapsing on stage provides me entertainment, and that's all that matters. Yes. $42 away from tonight's goal. Guys, let's knock that out. Let's get moving. Throw a couple bucks our way. We've done it tonight. We've gotten really, really close. Let's just shut the door on that. Help the toe. Thank you very much. I appreciate the 99 cents. Once we get inside of $50, we do dollars and cents. I think that's a lot of fun. So we're 41.30 away from tonight. Keep it going. And let's hammer this thing out, and let's enjoy these last 20 some odd minutes and call it again another win for the toe. Do you guys remember when our governor, Mark Dayton, fucking stroked out during the State of the State address? And then not only did he stroke out during the State of the State address, but then he also, that caused him to have to go to the hospital, and then they found out he had cancer. So he was passing out because he had cancer. Mark Dayton collapses. Yeah. Our governor was giving the State of the State address, and everyone just kind of thought that, they weren't concerned at first when he started slurring his words.
For the governor of Minnesota, Mark.
Because our governor at the time, Mark Dayton, slurred his words. Like, the way he spoke, the way he would talk. He would talk like this, and he would always slur his words, and he said talk like, and then people couldn't understand what he was saying because he would talk too fast and it jumbled. So when he started, you could imagine how confusing it would be if that guy started talking like a fucking stroke victim, because how would you know it was any different from how he originally is? This is the original Good Morning America news story with the clip of Mark Dayton collapsing
during his annual State of the State.
No, fuck that. We got to get the longer one. Shut up, guys. Shut up.
But despite that awful cost,
oh. That was the worst, too, is when he took that header right off the fucking podium. Oh!
Get him to the ground. Get him to the ground, please.
Oh, and then we got to show it again from the reverse angle. Oh! Just thumping his head right against the desk. So then he went to the doctor shortly after that, and they found out he had cancer. And I think he's still kicking. I think Dayton's still alive. He's like 77 years old. He's still out there. But it's, you can't fuck around with, when you start collapsing and stuff. He did a Mersh on stage. Optic Nerve, thank you for the 113. Appreciate it. Vadam with $1. Look at Vadam. Says, come on, everyone. Shoot the toe some money. Everyone donate $1 like me. What a fucking guy, huh? What a guy. And Puerto Rican prostate puncher says, Aaron's take. We shouldn't be doing fill in the blank. What a deep take. Thank you. That's all I have. Deep take. That's my whole, they call me Deep Take Imholt. That's what they called me back in the day. $39.30 away from tonight's goal. Keep jumping in there. Keep knocking it out. We appreciate it. Turd Burglar says that's going to be on you. That's going to be you on stream 3 decades from now. No. I'm not going to be the Mark Dayton of podcasting. I'm not going to sit here and just fucking do a header. You guys have no faith in me, do you? You have zero faith in my abilities to keep my head upright. 39:30 away from tonight. We got 15 minutes to go, guys. You're making me nervous. I'm getting a little nervous up here. I'm flop sweating just a little bit. You guys have been great. You've gotten us inside of $40 away from tonight's goal. There's just a little bit left, just enough to be annoying. Let's knock it out so I don't look like a fucking buffoon for doing the 30 minutes of overtime and still not knocking it out. Throw in 5 or 10. Let's get rid of this pesky thing. Streamlabs, PayPal, Venmo, all the links are in the chat. Let's knock it out. So the post office lost $9.5 billion this year. $9.5 billion. And as you know, Donald Trump has Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk on the case of scrounging and scraping and finding every little nickel and dime that they can to save the government money. So nobody's really safe. There's no department that can go, well, we only lose this much. If you lose anything, you might be on the chopping block for the Trump administration. Actually, I'll be honest with you, the Postal Service only losing $9.5 billion last year is less money than I would have thought that they lost. President-elect Donald Trump is reportedly considering privatizing the United States Postal Service to stop taxpayers from subsidizing its billions of dollars of losses. 3 sources who spoke to the Washington Post under the condition of anonymity reported that during a meeting at Mar-a-Lago with Howard Lutnick, the nominee for Secretary of Commerce, Trump voiced his interest in an overhaul of the Postal Service. One criticism I have of the first Trump administration, and it's not my only criticism, is that, everyone said when Trump got in there, like, oh, he's going to finally run this like a business. And he didn't. He ran it at a loss, like, especially when we got into COVID and we just started printing money. Like, we were running at record losses under Donald Trump. So, like, one critique I'd like of his second term is let's get a little more businesslike. And let's start throwing out the shit that we can that doesn't make any money. One source informed the Post that Trump discussed the privatization of the United States Postal Service with a group of his presidential transition officials earlier this month. Trump reportedly pointed to the Postal Service's massive financial losses, arguing that taxpayers should not have to subsidize the agency. Well, but if it is a government program, I never expect it to make money. My mom obviously ran all the budgeting for the Roseville School District food service program. And when she ran the school food service program, they had a saying that, like, we can't make money because then they'll give us less next year. So basically, if your budget ran any kind of surplus and hers did, she'd have to spend it on shit. She'd have to buy stuff. Otherwise, the school wouldn't give her as much money the next year. So it's kind of the whole thing's just a culture of sludge and rot and corruption where you basically, like, if you don't play the game the way it's played, you'll fall behind everybody else. Now, the president-elect's Department of Government Efficiency also reportedly discussed changes to the mail agency. The government is decades slow on adopting new ways of doing things, said economist Casey Mulligan. And there's a lot of other carrier services that have become legal in the 70s that are doing things so much better with increased volumes and reduced costs. We didn't finish the job in the first term, but we should finish it now, says Mulligan. $9.5 billion in losses this year. That's a $3 billion increase from the previous year's losses. Wow. Financial records indicate that the mail agency has nearly $80 billion in liabilities. Just 2 years ago, Congress bailed out the Postal Service to the tune of $107 billion. Give it a shot, man. I mean, why not? Why subsidize a thing like that when you have multiple other services that are doing it profitably? I mean, UPS, Amazon, all these others. And look, people are like, well, Amazon uses the Postal Service, so that's not fair. Okay, fair enough. Well, like, privatize the damn thing. Let it be swallowed up by one of these other businesses, or let it, thin itself out and run on its own and be more efficient. That would be fine. But it's not like those losses are going to get smaller over the years. It's not like snail mail is going to become a more profitable business as technology improves. There's no way. Big Chris with $10 says, let's get another win for the toe. Thank you very much. $1 from Los Federales says, what's with the stain on your shirt? There's no stain on my shirt. Thank you. Camel Toe with $1. Thank you very much. Big Chris gifting 5 memberships. Thank you so much. Guys, we are 21-30. No, we are 21 even away from tonight's goal. $21 away. Let's knock it out and call it another win for the toe. Only $21 left. Oh, it's getting very colorful over there on the YouTube side of things. Celtic Pride becoming a member for 31 months says, Dayton, that reminds me of Drunken Lemon. Whatever happened to the guy? Great bit. So, asshole, there was a bit we tried at a live remote one time. We were doing a remote for Granite City Food and Brewery in the radio days. And we somehow we did a bit on the radio where Oz would pretend to be shit-faced and he was a drunk lemon. It related to some story, whatever. So when we did this live remote at Granite City Food and Brewery, we said that Drunk Lemon would make an appearance because it was a hit one day. So Oz put like this face and these toothpick arms on a lemon, and then he started doing the lemon live where we had an audience, and you could have heard a fucking mouse piss on cotton. It was so quiet in there. It bombed so fucking badly. It was beyond embarrassing. So yes, thank you very much for the Drunk Lemon reference on tonight's show. I am so glad there is no footage or any evidence that Drunk Lemon ever fucking existed. Do you know what these animals that we have for fans now would do if they got their hands on any Drunk Lemon footage? Oh, guys, we got less than 10 minutes to go. We're $21 away from tonight's goal. Let's hammer it out and call it a win. We've done your overtime. We've done our job. Go ahead and throw in that last $21. Streamlabs, PayPal, Venmo, Super Chats, Rumble Rants, etc. Come on, don't make me beg for it. CNN. So we talked about people getting duped. We talked about people getting scammed. And we have the story of the 71-year-old woman who got scammed out of her money. That's nothing. CNN may have released a war criminal thinking that they'd done something heroic. According to a report from Verify Psy, last week the news network aired an emotional rescue video of an alleged Syrian prisoner who claimed that he was held captive for months. The video of the alleged rescue went viral. But now CNN says they are investigating the man's identity because he may have given a fake name and he may have been one of Bashar al-Assad's main henchmen. The individual identified himself as Adel Garbal from Homs and claimed to be a Syrian prisoner who had been held captive for 3 months and had not eaten or drank any water in 4 days. Now, Verify Psy questioned whether CNN fabricated the story, pointing out inconsistencies in the man's appearance and behavior when compared to individuals who had endured long-term confinement. Well, CNN did not appear to question any of the inconsistencies, and these independent journalists then said, well, this shit doesn't look good. So they looked into it and found that the man's real name was Salama Muhammad Salama, who is known as Abu Hamza, a first lieutenant in the Syrian Air Force intelligence under Bashar al-Assad. He was involved in theft, extortion, and coercing residents in Homs into becoming informants. He's one of the most hated men amongst the opposition in Syria, and CNN celebrated his escape from prison. CNN is having the worst year they've ever had, and it's not even close. Seize the Day with 279 says, you're a good sport and funny. Still not a fan, but it's okay. I know, Seize the Day. You've made that very clear, that you're not a fan. But that you think I'm funny. I appreciate that. You can't win them all. So at least you're not a fan of mine, but I am funny. I'm going to take that W. Here's a W I'm going to take too. We're 1950 away from tonight's goal. I want to see that get down to 0 only because I did a full 30 minutes of overtime, and I don't want to look like an asshole. Don't say too late. Come on, guys. We're passing the hat around. We didn't do it in the initial 2 hours. You guys were really good. You threw in money. It was really great of you, mighty white of you. I appreciate it. Now we got 5 minutes left. Time to pay the piper. $19.50. The hat's coming around. We got 5 minutes. Let's bang it out. Let's call it a win. The quicker we get it over with, it will fast Band-Aid this shit. Click on the link. Go to PayPal. Go to Venmo. Super Chats. Rumble Rants. Let's do it. Come on. Meow Meow says 5 minutes until overtime. No, we're in overtime. We didn't do this part because you guys got inside of $50. Bapa Shab says more flailing. But no flop sweat yet. Hold on, let me check. Nope, no flop sweat yet. All right, guys, just under $20 left in tonight's goal. Let's bang it out. Let's knock it out. Everybody with your 5s and 10s. Let's go right now. What a great show we did. We had news. We had gossip. Even Seize the Day, who thinks I'm a complete piece of shit, laughed at tonight's show. It was good. Taste Fairy Ialto with $2 says Skol indeed. That also 160. That puts us 1790 away from tonight's goal. There you go. Closer and closer, guys. 1790 away. Knock it out. Get it in there. 5s and 10s, 2s and 3s and 1s. Let's do it. Finish it off. Puerto Rican prostate puncher with $1 says, you haven't been funny since the reaction from the Goosh Goosh vid I sent you for the anime segment. Stop talking about yourself as the hero and be fucking funny. I've been very funny tonight. I have to disagree with you, Puerto Rican prostate puncher, but you're a tough nut to crack. I will give you that. You're a tough one. Comfortably Numb with $9.99 says, here is half. We take 7 of that. 10-10 left to go. Who wants to be the hero? 10-10 left for today. Let's finish it off and call it another perfect day for the toe. 10-10 left. Streamlabs, PayPal, Super Chats, Rumble Rants, what have you. Let's go to bed happy. No couple should go to bed angry at each other. And that goes for us too. 10:10 left to go. 2 minutes and 40 seconds left on the clock. We can do this. You guys have got it. We got to reset that. There we go. You guys have got this all figured out. Seize the day with another 279. Hold on. Let me get that back up there. There we go. Seize the day with 279. Gila with $2 over on YouTube. That means we are 8 away. No, we're 7 away. I'm sorry. I fucked that up. 7 away from knocking it out. Thank you very much. Thank you, Gila. This is the fun part when it's just $7 away. That's a 10 on YouTube. That's a 9 on Rumble. That's a 7 on PayPal or Venmo. 2 minutes left to go. Let's knock out the last 7. A little bit at a time. 7 is like 0. I just like doing this part. Come on, boys and girls. Das Optic Nerve with $1 over on Rumble says, hey, Twinkle Toes, your hairdo looks like a stealth bomber. That hurts my feelings a lot. $6.20 away from banging it out tonight. Hammer out the rest. Here we go. Minute and a half left. Minute and a half to go. 6:20 remaining on the scoreboard. You guys have got it. Here we go. Come on now. 6:20 is the number. 7 more bucks and we get another 30 minutes. I'll give you 5 more if we get that 6:20 knocked out or 6:20 knocked out. Come on, kids. You've got this. 1 minute to go. 6:20 left. Hold on a minute. Let's take a look here. $1 from Jacob. $1 from Vidam. That puts us down to $4.60 away from tonight. And then you got Gila with another $2. That brings us down to $20, $40, $60, $1.40. That brings us down to $3.20 away from this evening. Oh my goodness. Big Chris with $2. That brings us $1.80 away from tonight. Love this. Seize the day with $6.99, and it's another win for the Toe. Oh, Vidam says, any live events for Steel Toe coming up? I really liked the live shows on site. Oh, man, we just got Johnny and I don't know. Should probably do one, though, right? Gila with $2, Big Chris. Seize the day with $6.99. Awesome. Perfect. Perfect. Numero uno, Josh Denny fan says, did we cover Muldog already? Muldog. Why don't I know Muldog? What's Muldog? Now I feel like I'm missing out. By the way, thank you guys very much. I appreciate it. That was fun. I like doing that shit. It's weird. It's silly. By the way, $1 from Jacob. He says, go Bills. That's offensive. That's really offensive. Go Bills. It would be so cool if the Vikings and Bills were in the Super Bowl together. Somebody's O's got to go. A combined 0-8 in Super Bowls. I would love it. Jonesy the Cat said, this is not a win. It's a fucking win, bro. I'm sorry you don't like that, Jonesy the Cat. I know you're not a big Steel Toe fan. I know you don't like me. I know we were supposed to be dead by now. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but that is a win for the Toe. Only because it makes you react that way. Numero uno, Josh Denny fan says Nick Mullen. Yeah, we did the Nick Mullen thing. We did that probably about an hour and 20 minutes ago. Hour 25 ago, I would say. I would say that's about when we did the Nick Mullen and, God damn it, why can't I remember his name? Nick Mullen and Dan Soder clip that we did. Also, we found out this evening, that Michael Penix Jr. is officially the quarterback in Atlanta, and Kirk Cousins is out. My boy Kirk is done. His time as Atlanta Falcons quarterback may be at an end. Shit. Puerto Rican prostate puncher says, didn't hit the goal. Eye for the toe. Eye for the toe. We knocked out the gold Puerto Rican prostate puncher. It was a win for the toe tonight. Don't be in toe denial, baby. Don't deny me. Don't deny your favorite. Come on. It's a happy day. It's another perfect day for the toe. It's another W. And I wouldn't be so smiley about it, but it drives so many people nuts, and that makes me happy. I'm telling you guys, you take it too seriously. The ones who get upset about it, you're up late, you're watching me. Enjoy yourself. All right, guys, we're out of here. We're going to take off. I'm going to... Poor Gordy has been sitting there. I can tell Gordy wants to. We're going to play a little fetch with Gordy. Then I'm going to head to SP's, and we're going to watch some morning show on Apple TV, and I'm going to come back. We're going to do an awesome show tomorrow. I'm excited for it. I mean, unless those missing Jersey nukes just blow us all to hell, then... Look, it was fun. I hope we had a great last show. Talk to you tomorrow morning, bright and early, 6 a.m. Central. Subscribe.